What's up, everybody? We are live. All right, I see you. Send link here, Ted. Okay, you want me to send a link? Thank you, guys, for coming in. Hold on, Chris. I just copied it. Hold on one second. Okay, Chris, that's the link right there, buddy. If you see that, please join. We got Boxy. Boxy was in here earlier. So I'm just waiting for Chris to join us now. He's the star. He's the person that we're going to be talking to. All right, there he is. There we go. Hey, buddy.
How you doing?
I am good. You sound awesome. You look
Good,
awesome.
good.
Yeah. I don't know what happened before. I just set up. Boxy was on when I sent you guys it earlier.
Okay.
I just set up my new webcam. I got
Mm-hmm.
my new Blue Yeti microphone.
Looks clear.
I
Sounds
got
good.
yeah, I got my headset, my new headset. So everything it came in today, and I wanted to have it all for you, Chris.
Nice,
This is
man.
all for you, buddy.
I wish mine was as clear as yours.
I just got this I got the setup from Jason from JJ
Okay.
Jones. I
Yeah.
asked him, and he helped me out in what I was getting, and I was like, all right, cool. So I got it. I ordered it yesterday. It all came this morning. So we
Yeah.
just got done setting it up like 5 minutes ago.
I'm in the dark underneath a fluorescent light in the basement.
No, you look fine. It looks good. It
Okay,
looks good.
cool, cool.
Yep, it looks fine.
This is my
So
kids' homeschooling room. We homeschool the
nice,
kids. So
nice,
I'm in their schoolroom in the basement.
awesome. So cool gamers in here. Elaine, welcome to my kitchen. She shared us out and everything. I don't think she's here, but
Nice.
Boxy is here. Cool gamer is here right now. So we're just gonna hang out for a little bit and see who's coming in. It says there's 5 people in here.
Okay,
So
cool.
I know Boxy's gonna come up in a little bit, and we're waiting for Adam. Maybe if he can show up. SoFlo's in here. What's up, SoFlo? Can you see the chat, Chris?
Yeah, I could see it. Yep.
Okay, I'm going on to my YouTube also, just so I
Okay.
could just follow along if I have to. And like I said, I apologize, guys. I just got everything set up. So okay, we are on. I'm on both of them right now, so
Okay.
we're good. So yeah, me getting everything together, Chris, was a little hectic today. I got
Yeah.
my lights. You know how that is. I just set everything up 2 minutes ago. I got my lighting
Well,
all down and
I
good to go.
was I was next door up at camp. I
Uh
was
huh.
winterizing camp. I was putting that insulated that film you put over the windows. And
And
you
then
take the
heat it
hair
up.
dryer. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
I did that to the whole camp inside, getting ready for winter.
Okay, okay.
And yeah, I'm gonna be able to heat that thing with a match pretty soon.
Awesome, awesome. Hey, that's the way to go, buddy. Especially
Oh
with the
yeah.
cost of how do you heat it? Do you have a
Well,
furnace?
we got fuel up at camp.
Oh,
I got
okay,
gas next door at my house, but
okay, okay.
yeah. So
So we
hey,
got
there's Kyle.
SoFlo, we got
Kyle's coming
SoFlo, we
in.
got Kyle, we got my mom.
Your
Bernadette's in
mom,
here. My
Bernadette.
mom, my
Yeah.
mom's in here. So yeah, we're gonna hang out for a little bit and just
Hi,
wait.
Mrs. Polanowski.
Fishing with Big Mike's in here. What's up, Fishing with Big Mike? Thank you for coming in. Um, so yeah, so what I wanted to do tonight, guys, was I wanted to feature Chris. Chris is a good buddy of mine. I was looking forward to this all week. I asked him to do this. He's really knowledgeable in the hunting and food plots. That's one of his specialties. At least I consider it being one of his specialties. I learned a lot from Chris from watching his videos and texting him. We are on a first name basis, I guess. He
Oh
is sort
yeah.
of a friend of mine.
Yes,
So
sir.
if I have any questions, I'll call him or text him, and he always gets back to me and gives me all the right information or what I need to know and what I should do and what I shouldn't do. So you guys are going to definitely learn something here tonight. Like I said, I'm very excited. We're going to have a Boxy probably stop in here in a little bit. And what we're going to do is we're going to talk about food plots this evening, guys. And we're also going to talk about the opening PA archery season that happened yesterday. If you want to call it an archery opening day, I don't know if you can call that a great opening day or not, but we're going to talk
It was
about that.
rough.
Yeah, and then I'm going to ask. I'm going to talk to Chris about a couple other things. We may move into the Tacticam, talking about the Tacticam a little bit tonight,
Yeah,
and
sure thing.
maybe some scent elimination. We might do
All
that
right.
too. So those are the topics that
Nice.
that I would like to cover, but most importantly, I'd like to talk about the food plots because that's one of your specialties, and I would like to talk about the PA opening season here. So
All
we
right.
got fishing with Big Mike, and we got bullets and barbecue. You're welcome, bullets. No problem. I thought I was following you already, and I saw that today or yesterday, and then I hit the hook set button for you. So SoFlo said he had a great hunt yesterday, so that's
Oh,
awesome.
good. Good.
Okay. So we got 11 in here so far that I can see.
Okay.
And everything looks good, guys. Sounds good, Chris. Everything looks good.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah,
So
everything's good.
okay, yeah, I'm clear. I'm really excited about my setup now. So Jason helped me out a ton, and I wanted to get this up for you guys. So hey, Trey from Grippin' and Rippin's in here. So
Yeah, there's going to be some people on your channel, obviously, that I don't know.
oh yeah, yeah. I'll introduce. Like I said, I'll keep putting you out there, and then I don't know if I have a moderator in here. If we have a moderator in here, I think Kyle or Broxy. If you could share Chris's link for me, because that's one of the reasons why I wanted to push and premiere Chris's channel here tonight. He's getting close to that 1K, and we want to get him up there. We want to get him up to that milestone. So please, guys, if you haven't checked City Sticker Chris out, please go and check his channel out and give him a hook set. Very knowledgeable, has some great hunts. You'll definitely want to go back and watch the bear hunts and the deer hunts with the Tacticam last year, definitely. And if you guys want to know anything about the food plots and what you should and shouldn't do, please feel free to make comments and ask Chris any questions that you have.
Yeah, fire away, man. I don't have all the answers, but I can find you one.
Yeah, well, the thing that I like about Chris here, guys, is he's honest with you. He won't just tell you something to tell you it. He has lived it or have done it, and he won't give you any BS.
Right.
He'll tell you straight how it is, and he'll let you know. He'll get you on the right track. So
Yes, for
Kyle
sure.
did share your link, so that's awesome.
Thanks, Kyle.
Yeah, so did Boxy, so we're good to go.
All right,
so,
Boxy, thank you.
Boxy, I don't know if you still have the link. If you want to come up now or whenever you want to come in, you just pop in. Boxy, if you want to. I'm going to go ahead and start talking to Chris about some of the information that I'd like to cover tonight.
Sure.
So if you want to come in, Boxy, now, that's up to you. Adam may come in. I don't know if he's back yet or not, but
yeah, he might be on the road. Yeah,
he might be on the road. So.
Still on the road, possibly.
So, okay, bite the punch. Yeah, he beat the punch. I went for 3 hours, seeing 4 does. It was raining. Okay, so let's I guess let's talk. You want to talk about the opening day since we got the that going? Or do you want to talk about the food plots first?
Hey, everybody's pumped up about the hunts. Let's get to the hunts. I don't want to bore everybody to death first.
Okay. All right, cool. So we have Bullets saying he went for 3 hours, seeing 4 does. It was raining the whole time, but the small rhino blind, they're not waterproof. Okay.
Oh, okay.
I didn't know that. I thought all rhino blinds were waterproof, actually.
Yeah, I wasn't sure. I have one myself, but I've never been in a downpour like yesterday. My gosh.
Yeah, we have some. I don't know what this is. Is this a dinosaur up here or something? I don't know. Oh, let's see. Oh no, that's Boxy. Okay.
Oh.
Got my Wild Man 307.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. I'm gonna see if I can. Let me see something here. I want to see. Do you guys like that style? Do you like this? Which way you guys like to do this?
Whatever makes me look thinnest.
You want to go like this? We'll do this, Boxy. I don't know if I like it. I don't like that one.
There's a good shot.
Yeah, we'll do next to each other like that. We'll do that right there. So what's up, Boxy? How are you?
Centered up.
Doing good.
Good.
So
thanks for being here.
I do have my laptop up, so I can still take on to the chat. So of course I'm a little bit behind on one versus the other, but we'll see how we do.
Too. Okay, cool. All right, so let's go into, I guess, what you want to call opening day of PA archery season.
All right.
Chris, do you want to go first, or do you?
I can start out.
Let's start out with you, and then we'll go with Boxy, and then I'll save me for last, and we'll just explain a little bit of what what we did and what our how we got through the day yesterday. So go ahead and start it out.
So Ted's explained that I have a partnership with a seed company, and I do a lot of food plotting, and that's one of my mainstays. And I do woods plots and I do field plots, of course. I've done it all basically. Um, I chose to go below my house yesterday because I'm a procrastinator. With everything that's been happening lately in my life, I procrastinated a little bit, got a little bit behind. So I figured a close one to home would be the best first one for me. And usually every year opening day, I go down here on my property and shoot a doe first thing in the morning, usually. So I had that on my mind. I even, if anybody would follow along, they would see that I just put a video out about a doe rig that I made up out of an older bow that I have, an old Martin Pantera. I got it all set up for just for that reason. I wanted to go out and shoot a couple doe with it. Another potential partner that I have going with Viper Archery, he's given me a sight and some broadheads to try for him and to advertise for him and things. So that's what I was trying to do. I was going to go out and try to get one first thing in the morning. Well, that did not work. I had, to be honest, that was the first time ever I went below my house and did not see something to shoot. Um, Absolutely did not see a deer. I saw everything but a deer. I saw a possum. I saw a black squirrel. I saw a trophy groundhog, which I'm going to sniper that dude. He's been eating all my clover. But yeah, I've got a plot down there. It's just thick like carpet, and nothing came through in the morning. And we were supposed to be rained out. When I got out of bed in the morning, it was raining, and I thought, oh man, this is going to be a terrible day. And it 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 quit raining by the time I got outside. And I climbed a tree. I got in quiet, didn't spook anything on the way in. I thought, man, this is going to be awesome, and just nothing happening, man. I seen everything but. Had
Yeah.
some nice turkeys in, um, and then I came in at I came in the house about 10 p.m. or so, about quarter after 10. And I did some chores. I washed some laundry, and I'm trying to catch up on everything. Got some stuff happening, and I come in, did some chores, whatnot, and man, I looked at the radar, and there was a big break between 2 and 5, and I thought, wow, I'm hitting it. So I headed out the door at quarter to 2. It was spitting rain when I got, and what I did is I went across the street. And if you follow my channel, you'll see that I have a whole series from last year called Pasture to Plot, and it's a
Mm.
22-acre field that I just took 2 acres of it up against the woods, and I just made premium plots. I mean, just the most beautiful stuff you want to see. And this stuff it's been cow crap and horse crap for 30 years, and it's actually in my family. It's my in-laws live across the road from me. So my father-in-law had these animals in there for years, and basically I've taken the field and turning it into just a, if I can use the word domain, uh, it's just a beautiful place for the animals. I left since the gas prices were so stinking high this year. I didn't have enough money. I just was like, man, I'm not brush hogging 22 acres of field this year. So I left a lot of it stand. And you know what? They're using it for bedding, and they're
Hmm.
hanging
Mm.
out right there in the field just beyond my plot. And before dark, they just stand up and they walk over, and I have the whole thing screened in, and it's just like a ghost coming through that screening. Like 1 minute they're not there, and then all of a sudden, boom, they pop through,
They
and they're
pop through.
okay. 1, 2, 3. They're just multiples are coming in. And it's just a cool thing. But anyhow, getting back to my story, I went over around 2ish, got up in a tree, and I mean, I wasn't in the tree 10 minutes, and deer started showing up, and had 3 bucks run across the field together. Uh, Obviously, they weren't shooters, but it's nice to see 3 bucks and 10 minutes into your hunt, see
Yeah.
animals right away. So they went in behind me. They entered the woods because I have the woods to my back, obviously, and I'm facing the fields. And that was just the starting of a circus. I mean, it was just one after another, and before 5 o'clock, I had 20 deer in front of me, and
Mm.
no shooters to speak of. Uh, in the does, I try not to shoot over 25 yards. That's just one of my cardinal rules in bow hunting. So I did not try to take a shot. I had one as close as 32 yards, and I thought, nah, this is sketchy, especially how hard the wind was blowing. At one point, I know this is bad juju, but I did not wear a harness yesterday. I'm only maybe 13 feet off the ground is all the higher I can get and be able to shoot out from underneath the trees, but yet still make it over my screening into the plot. So
Gotcha.
I did not have a harness on. And at one point, I literally had to reach down. I was standing up. I had to reach down and grab my seat and hold on for my life. I mean, I almost came out of the stand. It was blowing that hard and scary stuff. But yeah, I mean, 20 deer before 5 p.m. and then the skies opened up and I got rained out. I got soaked to the butt. That
That's
was
what
it.
I think that's what I texted you and told you I wanted to talk to you, and you said, "Yeah, I come out. It's raining." I wanted
Yeah.
to say real quick, hi to Freezer Bound. I will share the link, Adam, if you'd like to come up, and I'd like to say also hello to the Fix It lady.
Yep.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool. So that was a pretty eventful day for you. Then at least you got out there and you seen deer.
Yeah.
Boxy, I'm gonna go ahead and share the link if you want to go ahead and start on your day and your opening season.
Yeah. So
Hey,
I ended up.
There's
What's
Jay
that?
Dunn. I was saying hi to Jay from Living Everyday Outdoors. He's from Florida. He's a friend of mine. And there's
Hey,
John
man.
Reddinger. John's a
Yep.
faithful
Stuff from
follower
Jay.
over there. Yeah.
Cool.
J&J. Hi,
Cool.
Adam.
So living everyday outdoors. Thank you for coming in. Hunting stuff with J and J's in here. And Adam, I did just share the link. If you want to stop up, come on in and we'll talk. But go ahead, Boxy. I'm sorry to interrupt
I'm
you.
sorry, Boxy. I interrupted you. I'm sorry.
Yeah, you guys are completely fine. Yeah. So basically, I knew I was going to be waiting for the afternoon to go out and do the hunt, and I had a couple spots in mind, but as you guys know, with the weather, I thought I could possibly get into that cornfield that you guys might have saw on my video, where I put up a trail camera. I had some bucks and I had some nice sized doe on there. But when I got out about 3:30, the wind was pretty heavy, and I thought I'm gonna probably sit to the ground. I decided to take the crossbow, and I went to a totally different area. It's actually across the road from that cornfield, and I literally got about 5 steps in, and I had a deer blow. So I get down off this point that I wanted to hunt, and I sat there probably till about 5 o'clock. I had 3 deer come in. I expected them to actually work up that point off to my left, so I kind of set up on the ground for them to come to my left, and they ended up doing the opposite. They come down in front of me and worked up to my right. There's a little fawn with them, and I think I'm running around right down in front of me, probably not even 15 yards. And then, of course, went racing back. Of course, because of the rain, I didn't take my good camera out. I was using just a GoPro. So a lot of that stuff you can't see on video that I have. But I did have that little one come right behind me about 10 yards and stop. And so, of course, by the time I got it spun around, you can actually in the video, you can see it kind of standing back there, and it's just staring at me, and then, of course, it takes off. That's all I saw, and then it got dark on me, and I walked out. But,
Cool.
I mean, it was pretty exciting. I kind of didn't want to go somewhere where I knew I wanted to hopefully hunt, later this month or at the end of this week. So just stayed on the ground, and I kind of knew there would be deer that maybe would work up through there, and they just didn't work the way I thought they would. But I had an opportunity.
Yeah, well, that's good. My opening day started Friday. You guys know that I'm in 2B, and so we actually started last week. Now with the weather and the timing and with the kids doing things and stuff like that and my work schedule, last week was my doctor's appointment for my arm to get checked out. They took the brace off finally. I'm going to start lifting with my arm, so that's a good thing. So I had doctor's appointments and therapy last week, so I didn't even consider going last week at all. The weather was kind of iffy, but then this weekend I was like, yes, it's going to be a great weekend. Friday I had off for my birthday, so I went out Friday. And the first time in my stand, I don't anticipate, unless I'm getting bucks throughout the season, but I was a little bit late with my deer camera this year and my scrape set up in my area by home here. So I got 4 or 5 different bucks on camera. One nice wide one, but he's a pencil rack. He's thin. He's not a shooter in my eyes, so it was good that I got bucks on there because I was getting doe before that. I had it out about 3 weeks before, maybe about a month, beginning of August. And so I'm really not, I didn't have anything exciting, like to go after right now. I don't have anything to go after right now. So I went out Friday and it was windy. I didn't think it was going to be as windy as it was. Friday morning was really windy. I did see 4 doe that came through about 7:45, and they were about 60 yards away from me in front of me, and they were in the thicket, and they just went past me. But they came the opposite way of what I thought they were going to come. Usually they come from my right and move into the bedding area to my left. Well, they came out of the bedding area and stayed in the thicket and went up to my right. So I don't know what they were doing. Like I said, it's not a real big parcel of woods there. There's houses up the road. There's some fields and stuff like that, and I'm sort of in a bottleneck. I do see a lot of deer there, but usually in the morning it's from right to left, and in the evening left to right. Well, it was the totally opposite Friday. So I did cut a video about it so far. My videos this year, it's going to be called, it's the 2022 Deer Trail, PA Deer Trail. That's going to be my series of hunts in PA this year, and then I'm going to do the 2022 Ohio Deer Trail when I'm hunting in Ohio. So my day Friday, I hunted till 10:30, got down, and then we went and did all our activities for my birthday. We went down to my buddy's farm, did a haunted corn maze, did a hayride, pumpkin picking. It was an awesome birthday, so I had a great time. Anticipating Saturday morning, and then Friday night it just started raining and it just got crappy out, and I woke up in the morning and it was just a big mess out, so I went back to bed. Got up again anticipating maybe it would stop. Nothing, so I didn't even make an attempt to go out first day here. So tomorrow is my big anticipation day because this evening it just turned around 180. So I'm really excited about tomorrow morning with it. So we will see what happens in the morning with me going to go. Now, if the skies did open up tonight, it was blue skies, a little cloudy. But other than that, everything is pointing in the right direction for tomorrow morning. So I'm hoping I'm definitely getting out there tomorrow morning. So we'll see what happens.
Good luck with that.
Yeah.
You say you work the evening, so you can get out every morning.
Yeah, I can go out every morning if I want to, yeah.
That's nice. Yeah.
So that's what I'm going to... And I'll hunt till 10 or 11 o'clock, depending on the situation with the weather and things like that. Excuse me. Sometimes I'll go out till 10. Sometimes I'll stay till noon. It just depends. Yeah. Just depends on what's going on at the time, with the deer. I'll let the deer tell me what I'm doing,
Right.
So.
Well, I go into work very early, and I get off at 2, so... Yeah, I can be in the woods by 3, so I'll get that 3 to 7 hour evening hunt.
Yeah,
and then the days will start getting shorter, and I'll be fighting the daylight.
Yeah, and Boxer, you work the night shift too, correct?
I work night shifts. As you guys, I'll be going to day shift.
Okay.
It's really tough. My shift, I leave my house at 10 minutes to 7. So this early season, I'm always fighting. Of course, the fact of getting out there, and I'm leaving prime time, and you don't know how many times I want to be out there, and I get out there, and I'm getting down, and I'm moving out, and I got deer coming.
Yeah.
So I usually try to refrain from that, and then of course take my time off working that. But I am October 17th. I will actually be going to day shift. Okay. And I have it set up where 2 of the days I'll be getting off at 1 o'clock in the morning or 1 o'clock in the afternoon, See, I'm still talking night shift.
Yeah, I
But
hear
yeah,
that.
1 o'clock in the afternoon. I got out at 1 o'clock in the afternoon. So there's gonna be 2 days through the week that even when it is getting dark, you know what I mean, at 5 o'clock, I'll still get about a 3-4 hour hunt.
Yeah, that's
So I'm
good. That's real good.
looking forward to that, and I'm looking forward to sleeping like a human being now.
Yeah, no
Not a night
doubt.
Yeah,
owl.
I don't know how
yeah,
you
that's
guys
tough.
do that. Phew.
Yeah, I'm low man on the pool at the school district, so I got stuck with that shift.
Mm.
Um,
Yeah.
we used to be rotating, and that was really nice because you'd go on every 6 weeks, and you knew when you were going on nights, so you could schedule all your stuff you wanted to do throughout the day when you were on nights for that week or two. And then
Mhm.
all the guys been there 20, 25 years. I got to wait till somebody retires to move up to daylight, which should be coming up within the next year or two. So I'm kind of excited about that. But it has its pluses and minuses. I don't get to see any of my kids' activities in the evening. That's the hardest
Ooh.
part of everything.
Yeah,
That's
that's
the hardest
rough.
part. Like seeing their football, their baseball games, their basketball and all that. So I miss a lot of that. So on the weekends, today we had a volleyball tournament. Yesterday we had a volleyball tournament. So I went there after I was going to go hunting in the morning and then go to the tournament, but it was raining, so I went right to the tournament, and
Yeah.
then they ended up losing. Got home, and then this morning they had my daughter runs cross country, so she was over at Shenley Park running today, so I went over there for that. So the weekends are tough to get out, so that's why I do enjoy getting up on Monday through Friday mornings and going, and then coming back home, maybe taking a nap before work. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
hit the work. So it does have its pluses and minuses.
Well, at least they're healthy.
Yeah,
Thank
it could be
thank God
worse.
for that. I mean,
Yeah.
my boy, he I got him into hunting at an early age, and we really enjoyed doing that together. And then at age 11, he was diagnosed with that Crohn's disease, and that just threw a wrench into that. I mean, I can't even get him out of the house anymore to do anything.
Hmm.
He just can't stay out of the restroom long enough.
Yeah.
And as a matter of fact, on the 17th, you mentioned October 17th, Boxy. He has a big appointment down in Pittsburgh at Children's again to get a check out there. Hopefully all that goes well.
Yeah.
But
Hopefully they can give him some help.
I'd like to get him back in the woods.
Deer Corner's
Oh,
in here. What's up, Deer Corner? Thank you for coming in. Appreciate it. And Adam mentioned he has every night to hunt when the kids don't have stuff, but but a little for the mornings when I get home. Yeah, I understand that, Freezer. The kids and all the stuff that they do, it's really tough.
Yeah.
But got to
yeah.
get out
See,
there and hunt, man.
Deer Corner, he doesn't have to worry about it. He hunts evenings and nights. He hunts
Yeah,
dark
he
to
hunts it
dark.
all. Living every day outdoors says working 12-hour nights during the extended holidays.
So that
Yeah.
that brings up a question. A lot of these guys, they talk about early October,
Uh
not
huh.
hunting mornings, hunting evenings. Do you see a lot? I mean, I've always had to hunt evenings, but do you see a lot of deer early in the mornings in early October?
Chris, you want to answer that?
I I don't get to hunt the mornings except for Saturdays or unless I take
Mhm.
days off. So I I'm not a big morning hunter as far as that goes until I take that vacation time, and I don't usually take that till the first week of November. I have some days to burn, so I'll take a few days there. But I don't know if it's just me or what, or if it's just the way I scout. I end up shooting deer more in the evenings.
Okay.
I really do.
And I'll answer that too here in a second. I'm just saying hi to Bream. Bream Bass and Beyond just came in. I was always a big evening guy myself. And I think it was when I was younger, I never could get up in the mornings to hunt, so I'd always like the evenings because I would never get up. I'd always want to sleep in. Okay, but
Right.
the last 5 to 10 years, um, I my buddy has transformed me into a morning hunter because of the deer. I believe, and this, don't quote me on this. This doesn't mean anything. I don't know everything about deer hunting, so I've seen more deer. I've shot more deer in the evening. I've seen more deer in the morning. That might sound weird, but they're already out in the fields and where they're going to be. And the way I hunt is I hunt pretty close to bedding areas, okay? So going in there in the wrong wind in the evening and everything can kill my hunt. Put it that way. If it's the wrong wind, I have the ozonics. I take scent-free showers. We're going to talk about this scent elimination stuff a little bit later. But I have the ozonics. I have all that, and that helps a lot. And I just started using that 3 years ago. But when I would go into a spot in the evening, if the wind was wrong or something, I believe that I was hurting myself on those hunts because that's just my style of hunting. The way I tend to set up my stands and where I like to set up is a little bit closer, not in the bedding area, but closer to the bedding areas. So my best hunts are in the morning when they're coming back into the bedding. If they're leaving the bedding, where I just my style of hunting, just the way I set up, it favors the morning hunts more than the evening hunts. In Ohio, we have a lease. We bait deer. You can hunt there any time of the day when you're baiting deer. Like we have a mineral licks, we have corn, we have that stuff out. So it doesn't matter when I'm hunting over bait. You could be there morning and evening. You can be there 1 in the afternoon, 2 in the afternoon. The deer will come in at all times. But just the way I set up my stands and my style of hunting is I tend to like the mornings better, and I think I have better success in the morning and seeing deer.
See, I could answer it a different way too. It depends on where I'm going to hunt. Obviously, with the food plot, I I can't go in there in the morning because you blow them all out. So that's why I'm saying it's an evening hunt there.
Yep. Yep. I
Now,
agree.
if I go where I usually shoot a buck yearly, if I'm going to go to that spot, it's way over top of a big ridge that overlooks a river on some benches and things. If I go
Hmm.
to that spot, I can get in there, and it seems like I'm on the edge of something bedding area wise,
Yeah.
and they will move through in the morning. But primarily, though, I'm still an evening killer,
Hmm.
seems
Okay.
to be.
Yeah, and I just want to mention real quick, guys, take a second here. For those in the chat, if you haven't picked up City Sticker Chris, please do so. Please go to his channel and pick him up. He has a great channel. He's coming up on 1K, his milestone, so we're trying to push him tonight to get him out there. He's a very knowledgeable hunter. He's really good. One of his specialties is food plots for deer. That's why I have him up here to explain to you guys what he does, and if anybody has any questions, please feel free to throw them in the chat and we'll address them throughout the night here. But yeah, please go pick him up. If there's a moderator in here or Boxy, if he could share his link again for me, that would be awesome. Or Freezer
There it is.
Bound, or you got it? Okay. So
Yeah,
yeah, pick him
when
up, guys, and help him out.
when Ted and I started talking about this and setting this all up, I was like, I just don't think I'm out there enough. I get into other people's lives and I make some comments here and there, but I don't think people know me on a personal level. And what you see is what you get. You guys have both met me in person. You know who I am. And I
Hmm.
am that person all the time, and I think that's important to tell people, you know, that I don't shoot BS at people. And you see that in my videos too. I mean, I don't tell people how to plant food plots. I show them how I do it, and
Hmm.
at the end of each video, my tagline is, if you've got a question about what you've seen here, or you have a question about what I did, leave a comment. You know, I will answer it to the best of my ability. If I don't have an answer, I'll get you an answer.
Yeah.
So that's just me. I mean, I'm just a down to earth guy. And I just feel people need to know that. I think they look at people that have a YouTube channel and think, oh man, this guy's conceited. All he wants to do is put himself in the limelight, this and that and the other. And I'm like, nah, I'm just enjoying what I do. I'm just showing you how I do it. That's great. I mean, like, we're gonna get into this later, I'm sure. Like, I'm a tilling guy. I like to till my soil. A lot of guys are into the no-till stuff. Nothing against it,
Yeah.
but I just choose to do it the way I do it. And
Yep.
it goes a lot it happens to be the equipment that I own too. At this point in time, I don't have 10 grand to sink into a no-till drill, you know, that type of
Hmm.
thing. So, you know, if I had a no-till drill, I would probably use it in some situations. Sure, I would. But right now I don't have that. So
Yeah.
if I got anybody out there that's like company owner that has no-till drills and want to float one my way for some video advertising, I would gladly take that, and we'll
Yeah.
advertise for you.
Cool. And that brings us into the next subject of our live tonight, guys. Is food plots. Chris, you're one of a few people on YouTube that I know and I trust that that does the food plotting, and I've had a ton of questions over the past couple months for you. Um, so, do you want to explain a little bit on like the seed you use, what your style of planting is, when and where and how, and what you plant, and the reasons why?
Okay. First of all, Fix It Lady said she jumped on my bus. That must mean she hook set me, so I appreciate that.
Yeah, SoFlo did the same thing.
Oh,
SoFlo
cool,
hook set
cool.
you, and then I think hunting with J and J also had to pick you up again. He said.
Okay, cool. Now you know how the algorithm goes. Just don't click click that subscribe. You got to get in there and watch some videos and make some comments, or it don't
Yeah,
stick.
yeah.
Because I would be
Boxy's good for that.
I would be way over 1,000 subscribers by now if I kept everybody that subscribed. But
Hmm.
I gain a couple, lose a couple, you know.
Yeah.
And the reason is they just want to be gawkers. They get on, you know, lip service. They push that button, subscribe, and then they just disappear, you know.
Yeah, yeah. And I've always said too, and I've always listened to Boxy. He's always saying, share your passion. Make
Yeah,
sure it's a good hook set. And Boxy will probably say that tonight. But, um, when you're doing that, you wanna give the comments. You wanna watch a video. You wanna make a comment. Make
yeah,
as Boxy would say, a genuine comment. Yeah,
Yeah,
genuine comment.
here we go. Watch the
Go ahead.
video
There
in
you go.
full.
yeah,
Watch the video in full. You like it, give that thumbs up, give a genuine comment, and then you hit the subscribe button.
There you go, buddy. Thank you for that. Hog Deer's in here. What's up, Hog Deer? That's Cody, my
yeah,
buddy Cody
Cody.
from Texas.
Yeah,
Awesome. Thanks for being here. And that's another thing that Boxy always says too. He's like, everybody shares their passion. And that's why I was really excited about this live tonight, because the people that are up on panel and the people that are in our lives, we are sharing our passions. And that's what's so cool about the
yeah, for
YouTube and
sure.
these live streams is we can get up here and we all have something in common when it
Hmm.
comes to like hunting or fishing or the outdoors. So there's always stuff to talk about. And that's what this community is, such a great community. We support each other and we're all on the same page. I mean, we all have our differences and opinions about things, but it's all good, clean chat. You know what I mean? So
Yeah,
it's really cool. So
yeah. Like I said, there's differentiations, and I just choose to do what I do, and I won't tell you what to do, but I will show you how I do it. You
hmm
know, and that'll just bring me into this segment as you just
hmm
started out. I'll just get started on it.
yep.
Um, I you said about the company that I'm partnered up with. It's called Domain. They're out of Wisconsin. They were a small. Uh, they were actually brother-in-laws, and they started out this company, and it's taken off. I mean, it's exploding, and everything they do is in a clear jug, so you can see what's in it. Now, the seed tag will tell you what's in it, but you can see what's in it. They want to be transparent about it. And I got this one guy that trolls me all the time. He's like, "Oh yeah, but how much seed coating's on this? You know, how much seed are you really getting? This and that and the other." And I'm like, "Dude, all these seed companies have coated seed. It's there for a reason. You know, it's
hmm
coated with something to help it emerge out of the ground, or for pesticides, or so, there is a lot of coating on seeds, no matter what company you buy from. Um, and yes, I know you can buy pure live seed that has no coatings, but man, you want to pay triple, quadruple for that. You know, it gets pricey. But anyhow, uh, yeah, I partner up with them. I was working for a while, myself and another YouTuber together, and we were working under his YouTube channel entity, and we grew his channel up. It blew up big, and we were starting to get looked at by a lot of different companies. Domain was one, Tacticam was another, and just to name a few. And there was a lot of good things happening there, and then stuff happened in our personal lives, and we had to part ways and go solo. And we lost a lease that got sold from under us and things. But anyhow, we were able to keep that partnership, that friendship going with this company. Um, I have never had anything from this company fail unless it was human error on my part. I had they have one brand. Um, that is beets. It's just straight beets, and it's coated pretty heavily. And I planted this stuff, and it took off like gangbusters. And yeah, if you look it up there, Teddy, it's called Beatdown is the name of the stuff I'm talking about. But
Okay.
anyhow, it took off like gangbusters, and it it was doing really good. But human error on my part. Here we go. I'm going to tell you the truth here. No BS. I planted it in a spot that was kind of low lying, and this was last summer. And last summer we had all that rain, all summer. The opposite of what we had this year. We had drought all this year. Last year we had all that rain, and it just got super soaked, and it wilted and died. It literally just fell over and was dead after about 5 weeks of being in the dirt. And that was human error on my part. I shouldn't have put it in such a low lying area. But it was
Mhm.
like it was like an I do like experimental plots a lot. Like I will take something and try it in an area and just experiment, see if I like it, and then if I do, I will showcase it on my channel somewhere else, and plant this stuff. And yeah, it was my fault. So I mean, while the getting was good, I took pictures of it and advertised for it and things. But man, when it wilted and died, I had to be honest with people and say, "Hey, look," I showed them on the video, "Hey, this was an error on my part that
Mhm.
this did not grow correctly." So that's a little bit of background
Mhm.
about that. Let me real quick uh, tell the story behind my channel name. A lot of people misunderstand that greatly. Um, it's City Sticker, not City Slicker, but it's a play on words. I was originally from the Pittsburgh area in Pennsylvania. I grew up just outside of the city, and that's where the name's coming from. It's just a play on words. And the sticker obviously is from bow hunting, uh, sticking a deer with an arrow. Um, it it like I said, it people think I think a lot of times that name scares people away from even checking out my channel because they think, "Oh, what's this guy? Is he hunting in the city or something?"
Yeah.
Totally not what's happening here. Because I live out in the woods. I've been here 20 years. I mean, basically the sticks.
Mhm.
I've been up here in the mountains for almost 22 years, and yeah, it's just a name, guys. You need to really dive into the channel and check it out, or just read the about page. It explains it all. Mom and dad bought a camp when I was 11, and it just created a burning inside me I couldn't extinguish. You know, and I said, hey, when I become old enough to drive, can I get a key to the camp? But I
Mhm.
was an overly mature kid for my age because I had two older brothers that taught me everything not to do in life. So I grew up very, very, uh, like I said, I just lost my wording. But yeah,
That's
I was
okay.
mature.
Yeah.
I was mature for my age. So they gave me a key to the camp, and I was up there every weekend. People thought I lived here. They was inviting me to join the fire company, inviting me to come move them. They were moving from house to house. They was asking me to move them and use my pickup truck, and I was like, man, I can't. I'm going to be at work. I live in Pittsburgh. They're like,
That's
what?
funny.
But yeah, so I just said, at a younger age, I'm like, hey, I'm gonna move up here. I'm gonna get up to the mountains. I'm gonna get up there, and I'm gonna enjoy that place. So that's what I did.
Mhm.
It took me a little while to get here, but I just decided to
Come on
do
this
it.
side.
I just decided to do it while I was younger because I figured I would never do it if I didn't. And a funny
Mhm.
story is that's how I met my wife. Was up here. I was
Okay.
up at camp and ended up hunting the property that her dad farmed and things. And he invited me over to the house. I think it was a setup personally. Hi, hi, one cast Carly.
There's
Hi.
Carly. I'm sorry to interrupt you, but
It's all right.
she went and she got another medal today when she was doing
Nice
cross country.
running,
She came
running.
in
Seven.
seventh. She came in
Nice,
seventh place, and
good
their
deal,
team
good
came in
deal,
third place. So I wanted to
good
just
deal.
to bring her up here for that.
Nice.
Okay, kiddo. Hey, kiddo, can you grab me something to
Congratulations,
drink?
Charlie.
But yeah,
Foxy said congratulations.
Thank you.
I think it was
She
a
said
big
thank you.
setup. I think her dad was trying to get rid of the farmer's daughter, and it worked.
Yeah.
so then I had land to hunt on too, though. So it
Water.
worked out.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's my background there. I moved up from the city of Pittsburgh, and I came up here. So that's the meaning behind the name. It's just a word, it's just a play on words. So then, okay,
I
what was
like
it?
the title. I like the title of your channel. I think
Well,
it's
it
cool.
confuses people, I think. I think that's another reason why I don't get a lot of people sticking to the channel. I think they come on out of curiosity and then just disappear before they watch and subscribe. Either that or they just get the information they want and move on. It's hard to get subscribers nowadays. It's such an instant society. They just want to click through, get what they want, and move on. They don't want to be a part of it sometimes. Man, if they got into our community, though, we got a good community going here. All the guys that we all know, and we're trying to get together and get more people in on it.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a good network right here.
Yeah.
And it reaches all over the United States.
Yeah, that's why I said the community's awesome. Like you two guys up here right now, I met you guys through the YouTube, and it's definitely an awesome community. You can learn a lot from everybody. A lot of people out there, yeah, they have their ways and they don't want to put their 2 cents in or whatever, but it seems like our community, everybody wants to talk about their experiences and how they do things and try to help people. And that's the whole idea of everything, especially the younger kids growing up. Like I always say at the end of my videos, now take a kid hunting and fishing. You want to preserve the sport, get them introduced to it. My kids, Carly's into hunting, but she's got her friends now. So it's like she's at that age where it's hard to get her out in the woods. But they love fishing, and I'll take that. If they love fishing with me, that's a plus in my eyes. So I just, I can't stress enough, guys, to get the kids out there. If you know anybody, neighbors, kids, or anything, if you're able to take them out fishing or hunting or even trapping, Boxy's real big into that with the kids, with the trapping and stuff like that. He does a lot of great things over at his channel. And I know we're stressing Chris tonight, but also you got the man sitting there, Boxy. If you guys haven't picked Boxy up, please do so also. It's a great channel also. He does a lot for the community and a lot for the kids.
Don't forget, I'm a child at heart. You can take me fishing, Ted.
Yeah. I tried to get you guys this year, but Boxy was pretty busy. Geo came out.
I would like to sometime, yeah. We'll set that up for the future.
Yeah, we're definitely going to do something together up at the lake this year. Definitely with you guys. So,
but yeah, as far as what else did you ask?
Well, that's what I was going to say. Like, now the next thing is, what's your method of planning? Like you were just talking about a drill system.
Yeah.
I have no need for a drill because of the seeds that I plant, but explain to the people the differences between like the disking, the tilling, and then the drilling also, and what kind of seeds you would want and plant which way. Okay.
Let's start. Let me just say with what I do. Okay. Yeah. What I use and what I do. Now I have a 1940 Farmall red tractor. It's a Farmall M. It's a pretty big tractor. As far as big equipment, that's the only thing I really have big, but that's what I tear up virgin ground with. I have a Ferguson set of, oh boy, what's the word?
Discs?
No, the ones you drag behind, cultivators. Oh my gosh, I'm sorry. Put me on the spot. I'm like, what? But yeah, I have a set of Ferguson cultivators that go on the back of my tractor, and they're just a little bit wider than the rear set of my tires, so I don't get tire tracks behind me. It's all cultivated. Yeah, it's all cultivated land. See, because we used to use a Furminator to bust up ground, and it was great, but you need a big ATV or UTV to drag that thing because it weighs 880 pounds, So we were using it on my 3-point hitch on my tractor, which was great, but it was narrower than my tires. So everything that you disked going forward, you had a set of tire tracks beyond that. So you were just repacking with those big tires what you just disked up, So it wasn't economical really, because you find yourself going back and forth. But anyhow, yeah, I tear up a lot of stuff with the cultivators, and they're basically big spring tooth harrows looking things, big tines that are spring loaded, and that's what I tear stuff up with. I tear it up with that, and then I have a set of discs. I drag the disc behind it, break up clumps that way, and if there's anything left after that, usually I get the drag harrows. A chain drag harrow behind the ATV, and that usually busts it up. And obviously I'm waiting for drier weather to do all that. But not too dry, because if you're doing it too dry and it's just blowing dust, that's your topsoil disappearing in the wind.
Mhm.
So you don't want it so dry and dusty that it's just blowing away your topsoil either.
Okay.
So you need a little bit of soil moisture yet still to do all that, but you want to work it up pretty decent. Um, that's what I use primarily. I do have a set of discs that go behind my four wheeler that have an electric lift on them. They're from Black Boar Company.
Mhm.
Um, it's a nice set of discs. You gotta watch what you're using it on though, because it's real heavy, and it could possibly break or bend your hitch. So, but me being a welder, guess what I did? I beef everything up. So
Uh-huh.
I
Yeah,
beef
there's
up
nothing wrong with that.
yeah, I beef up all my stuff on my four wheelers and my tractor and stuff, so stuff don't break down on me. But
Mhm.
yeah, that's basically what I use. And so I'll go in, I'll go in and I'll drag them cultivators around. And first of all, I'll mow as low as I can. And I'm not a big fan of chemicals,
Yep.
but if something's out of hand, I spray it. Okay, I will. But if not, if I can get away, I'll just brush hog it as low as I can to the ground, and then I'll go in with the cultivators, and that makes some good furrows too, and breaks up the hard pan underneath the ground. If you've got any soil compaction, and that's important. We might get to that later, but um, yeah, I get that down, 6, 8 inches. And, you know, yeah, you will bring weed seeds to the top.
Mhm.
But what you do is you wait a couple weeks and you either spray or you go back in and disc again or till again. I actually, with the cost of fertilizer, a little tip for guys, what they could do, and I know the no-till guys are just going to have a heart attack when I say this because they just want to protect all the little earthworms and everything, which is a good thing. I shouldn't kid around about it, but you know, what I would do is if you don't want to spray and use all those chemicals, you can disc 1 week, go back the next week, disc again, and disc the third week. And by that time, the sun has cooked all that all that debris to a dry crisp. Now the
Mhm.
no-till guys are sitting back saying, "Man, that is dumb. You're killing all the microbes in the soil, this, that, and the other." To a point, yeah, you do destroy a little bit of the ecosystem underneath the ground. But I'll tell you what, when I plant and you come look at my plots, you should see not insect infestation, but good insects, crickets, grasshoppers, all that good stuff. Not stuff that's destroying plots and eating it.
Mhm.
But I'm not having a problem with insects that way, so I'm not destroying that much. And if you grab if you pull a purple top out of the ground or a beet or something, you pull something out of the ground, man, there's worms crawling on it and stuff. So I'm not destroying it as much as they scare you. It's like a scare tactic. I swear,
Yeah.
you know, they're always, beating up on people that till
Yeah.
because you're destroying the earth, this, that, whatever.
Well, that's
But
like to
hey,
come,
they
and I'm sorry to interrupt you real quick, Chris.
good.
Like we till down at our place. We have a tiller. I have a Kubota, and we have a tiller on the back of it, and I had a couple of shorts out with that. But they say tilling it every year is also bad for the ground because
It'll
you're tilling.
compact it.
Yeah. So this year we planted late in August, and we didn't go down nearly as far as we normally would go down 4 or 5 inches. We
Yeah.
went down about 2 or 3 inches just to nick that top to
Yes.
get it going again, and then I planted it late because our deer tend to not eat the turnips and the daikon radishes. They don't tend to eat the bulbs. They just want the green.
Yeah.
So we figured we're gonna wait a little bit and plant it a little bit later. When I talked to you about Labor Day weekend, we waited till after that week, a week
Yes.
later, and we
Yes.
planted it just so we get the green, and we're not worried
Yes.
about the bulbs growing too much.
No.
We want the leafy green, the succulent greens.
They enjoy that better.
Yeah.
Stem count is more important to them than digging those bulbs up in the winter
Mm-hmm.
because that stuff will stay green for very long around my region anyhow. I can say that because I can't answer everybody's questions for wherever they live. It's
Yeah.
different from here to Florida, but
Yeah.
from here, I will have stuff green until January. Till almost till February, and I mean, it'll be green. It'll just be under so much snowpack that they can't really get to it, you know.
Yeah.
But I'll go out there in my plots, and they've got holes dug through a foot of snow, and they're getting down the green stuff. It's amazing, you know, that they'll go back and get those bulbs. But I've heard people say that sometimes it's a nutritional. Uh, uh, it's something that you're lacking in your nutrition. Sometimes it could be your lime. You know, your pH. It might be too acidic. Stuff might be too bitter tasting to them. You know,
Hmm.
there's a whole plethora of things it could be. You know,
Hmm.
and that's what I enjoy about all the all the planning and stuff. It's trial and error a lot of
Yeah.
times. You know, the guys all act like experts. You know, you can't be an expert. You cannot predict the weather. You know,
Yeah.
different things like that,
Yeah.
and you know, predation on things like I mentioned earlier with insects and things. You know, or bacterias and funguses and stuff. You know, I mean it. There is instances where, you know, if you plant stuff in the same spot every year or whatever, you know, it could cause issues. You know, so mixing it up and putting blends in and things is a smart thing to do.
Yeah.
So
Yep.
yeah,
It
but
will.
you gotta watch tilling so much though, because you will bring up more weed seed. So
Yeah.
I try I I
We're
try
looking to
to
get the 3-point hitch disc, the farm grade 3-point hitch this
yep.
year.
Hmm.
After the season in the spring, before the spring, we're looking to get a set of good 3-point hitch discs, so we don't have to keep breaking that pan. You know, we wanna just disc it,
Right.
and we'll probably get into this later too. But there's a few other ways you can do it to help you uh, enhance the soil also. Like we want to plant a summer plot like buckwheat, and then we want to crimp it, and we want to let
Okay.
that
Yeah.
rot and crimp and plant on that. So
Right.
there's a lot of different ways that we could talk about, later. But go ahead and keep going. I'm sorry to interrupt you, but I just
No,
wanted
yeah,
to
yeah.
put
Like I
that
said,
in.
I try to go in and I mow it all down and then I cultivate it. And if it needs a second going over, I'll I'll disc it up again, you know, to bust it up or to any weeds that didn't get uprooted, because that's what you're trying to do. You're trying to uproot them, unless you're going to spray them.
Yeah,
If you're gonna spray them, that kills them to the root, you know, from the top down to the roots, you know,
yeah.
and
We don't
then
spray. We didn't spray this year
yeah,
either.
I try not to, you know, but I did spray a little bit this year. I just put a small amount of Gly and 2,4-D on, and the only reason why I did that is because I had some really wacky looking prickly stuff there, and I wanted to get that with the 2,4-D,
Okay.
and I had some leftover um, winter wheat trying to come back.
Hmm.
And you're probably thinking, you know, why is he trying to kill his winter wheat if it's volunteering? You know, that's free. Yeah, it is. But being that I'm partnered up with Domain, I showcase certain seeds,
Hmm.
certain blends. So I have to have that field clear before
Hmm.
I start because I don't want any competition. So when I
Gotcha.
use one of their blends, I want you to see their blend. Proof's in the pudding. When you come and look at my videos and you see how beautiful the plots are, that's one blend. You know, it's not something all mixed up or whatever. You know, now
Yeah.
I'm showcasing that certain blend, and I did that this year. There's 3 videos on there. There's a bombshell, there's an OBS, and there's a Boss Brew. There's 3 different separate videos for the plantings of those. Now, some of it's still so young, it's only this big, so an update video wouldn't show you a whole lot. It just looks like a whole bunch of green carpeting right at the moment, you know.
Hmm.
But I put the bombshell in 3 weeks earlier than the rest of that stuff, and it's like this tall. And they're so if I have an Instagram account called City Sticker Chris. Also, if you folks would
Hmm.
like to go see that, I put a lot of other videos and pictures and things over there that you probably won't even see on YouTube.
Hmm.
But so you might be interested in going over and hooking up with me on Instagram. But if you get over there and look at some of those pictures, and I mean, man, some of the stuff, the stem count on the bombshell,
Hmm.
oh boy. I mean, they have it figured out in the jug how much you can plant in such an area. And I undercut a little bit, and I undercut the size of the plot, but used the whole jug that was on purpose to get the stem count because I wanted it so thick that, yeah, I know they're not going to get very big bulb wise. You're going to have golf balls under there, but the stem count, like you were just saying earlier, they like that leafy green stuff. And
Mm-hmm.
the bombshell, what did it have in it? Let me see here. It has Ethiopian cabbage, collards, and hybrid brassica and turnip in it. So that's all big leafy stuff, you know.
Mm-hmm. I got it up on the screen here, the bombshell.
Parabellum, thank you for hook setting and headed over to Instagram too. That's cool. Yeah, I'd like
There's
to
the.
grow that Instagram up too because man, that goes out. A lot of people see that.
Can you
You
guys
know,
see the domain bombshell I have up? Can you see that, Chris?
I can see it. Yes, sir.
Okay, cool. I just want to make sure I'm sharing it right. This is all
Yes,
new to
sir.
me, so I'm
Yep.
just trying to get the bombshell out
Yeah,
here just so you
that's.
guys could see it.
I planted that, and there's one called No BS. And as far as domain offers, if you want to offer something that is called no till or a throw and grow, this No BS is their answer for that. They have a
Yeah.
No BS and they have a hot chick also. It's a couple different. Let me see. Hot chick is chicory and two different clovers. Okay.
Okay.
Now No BS is a clover, a rape, a radish, a chicory. It's like I said, it's their answer to a throw and grow. Yeah, there's a lot of oats in it, but that acts as a good nurse crop for that clover and rape and radish and chicory to get growed up. I got notes, guys. I got notes.
Yeah,
Just
no, that's good.
just in case people ask, I'll have the answer.
There's
But
the
yeah,
there's the no BS right here.
man, people love that No BS.
Yeah, here it is right here. Let's see. And that is what? It's $24.99 for that
Yeah, that's one
right
of their
there.
cheaper blends,
Yeah,
and
so there's the
it's
blends
a
right
big
there.
jug too.
Yeah, so there you go.
They have one called Green Machine too. It's kind of similar.
Okay,
It comes in that big jug also. It's a cheaper one also.
cool.
Yep, yep.
Let's get off of
But
this
yeah,
one.
they have 1 pounders. They have 1 pound of stuff that you can get.
Uh-huh.
Um, you can get rapeseed in a pond. Um, you can get. Let me see. You can probably find it on there quicker than I can. Kale, you can get in a 1 pounder. Chicory, you can get in 1 pound.
Yeah, that's
You know,
domain is a pretty cool. We don't use domain when we but I think next year we're gonna get into that. What we do right now, guys, and I don't know, Boxy, do you plant at all, or do you throw any no-till or anything for yourself?
Yeah. Well, as you guys know, I'm all public land, so
Yeah.
no, I don't. But I
Okay.
do have a little. I do have a little about an eighth of an acre that I play
Okay.
around with in my side yard, and
Mhm.
I've done the basically the throw and go type thing. But
Mhm.
this year I didn't get it out. But last year I actually I live in an allotment, and it's amazing when you get some green stuff out there. You can pull deer, into an area where you wouldn't expect it. And
yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
I was going to I was going to ask Chris to talk a little bit about possibly lime. And do you lime and the fertilize?
Yeah,
Awesome.
When
That's
yeah.
you
good.
get in,
That's a great
I know
subject.
Well,
that's a
let me
very big part of success.
Yes.
let me get into that because it's the most important thing you can do is take a soil test, okay? And I will preach that till I'm blue in the face. And I even brought an example with me right now. That
Cool.
is, I use Penn State Extension. This stuff gets mailed right out to their agricultural analytical service laboratory in State College. But yeah, I take tests every year, and I don't just dig one spot and send it. You take multiple tests, like if you got a 1 acre space, you take multiple spots, put it all in a bucket, mix it all up. Yeah, I know you're only going to use about a cup of that into a baggie, but you mix that all, that way it gives them a good example of what you have because, as far as fertility and pH goes, if it's a hillside, a lot of your stuff will leach downhill, so you'll have better growth at the bottom than at the top. I don't know if people realize that or not. Just like water running downhill. Okay, so all your good stuff's going to end up at the bottom of the hill. Don't that make sense?
Yeah, it makes perfect sense.
Okay. So I get these tests back, okay, and they have recommendations. And what they will tell you is how many pounds per acre you're going to need of a lime. And there's many types of limes out there, you know. Uh, pelletized lime seems to be the easiest to get, and it's pretty cheap, but you're throwing around 50-pound bags. You're slinging a lot of weight, and
Hey,
we ain't get.
how did that 10-10-10 go up this year, huh? The
Oh boy,
fertilizer.
yeah, this stuff is doubling. I mean,
Mhm.
I'm looking.
Yeah.
I got notes here. Like I said, I take notes on stuff, and if I can find it, I had the yeah. Here we go. 10-10-10 last year was $9.30 at my local co-op.
Yep.
What'd you say you bought it for?
$18 a bag.
Doubled.
Yep, it doubled.
I
We
bought
actually
two
got it
bags.
from Walmart. We got 10-10-10
Okay,
last year. We got lucky from Walmart. It was $4 a bag at the end of the season, and we
nice,
bought a half a pallet of it. That's all they had left, and we bought it
nice.
for $4. So this year we went out. And we're like, whoa! It was 18.94 a bag for the 10-10-10, and that's not even
No,
the correct fertilizer for our stuff. That's just a
no.
basic fertilizer to get stuff going.
Yeah.
If you want to get into the ureas and stuff like that, Christian, I'll let you
Oh
explain
boy,
that. But
I
there's so much you can get into.
there is so much I could get into with all that. Um, there, they give you recommendations, and a lot of times, no matter if you use Penn State or if you use Whitetail Institute or something like that, they give you recommendation. Well, and I think Whitetail Institute may even be easier to read than these and understand than Penn State. But being that I have some knowledge about it, I can do that. But
Yeah.
for beginners, you might want to try the Whitetail Institute. I would say, because they'll actually tell you which fertilizer to use, the numbers. Okay, and let me start off by telling you, when you fertilize, when they tell you you need uh, this many pounds of this NP and K, which is macronutrients, that's nitrogen, phosphorus, and potash. When they tell you what you need for recommendation, and they tell you you need, okay, you decide you can use 10-10-10. Okay. When
Hmm.
you get a bag of 10-10-10, the that number on the bag is figured for you to use at 100 pounds.
Hmm.
So, okay, that's confusing. Let me explain. So, a bag of 10-10-10 is half rate of 10-10-10. So, what I'm trying to tell you is a bag of 10-10-10 is only 5 pounds of nitrogen, 5 pounds of phosphorus, 5 pounds of potash. Okay. Now, you need to understand that, because if they tell you you need 20 pounds of NP and K, and you buy 10-10-10, you're only at a quarter rate.
Yeah, you're only not even halfway there. Yeah.
Yeah, you're not even halfway there. So you need to know that one bag, 150-pound bag, is half of what that number is on the bag. So
Mhm.
if you buy 20-20-20, you buy one bag of 20-20-20, you're getting 10 pounds of N, 10 pounds of P, 10 pounds of K. So you need
Gotcha.
to buy 2 bags at a time to get that true number. That
Yeah.
needs to be understood, because there's a lot of misconception out there about that. So that, starting off, okay, that's how you figure out what you need. If they tell you need 20 pounds, well, then you need to buy 4 bags of 10-10-10 to get your 20 pounds. Okay,
Okay.
does that make sense?
It makes sense, definitely.
Okay,
But there's one thing that I want to add while you're on this subject right here that I want you to explain to everybody too, and as because we're going off of trying to figure out what you need for your plot. Like
gotcha.
my plot, I needed 300 pounds of lime per my acre for field. Okay.
Okay.
Now, could you explain to the people that when you're throwing pelletized fertilizer, when you're out there and you're throwing that out there, that a lot of that fertilizer turns into gas and goes away. So could you
Okay.
explain to them about that? Like you
Yeah,
want to overcompensate for that?
that pertains mostly to nitrogen.
Mm-hmm.
Nitrogen it volatilizes with sunlight and evaporates and burns off. So there's another reason why I use those cultivators. And when I cultivate, like, remember I said it makes furrows because you're dragging those teeth through the ground like that. So when I plant a plot, and you'll see it in my videos, and I touch on it basically, when I'm fulfilling the recommendations that come back on my soil tests, poundage wise, when I'm going to be dealing with nitrogen in that blend, I like to toss that out first. I spin that out first and get that, and I let that go down in all those furrows, okay? Because when I drag over that with the chain harrow, that sort of puts a little dirt over top of that nitrogen. Not only that, but your fertilization is then down where you need it because your roots are going to grow down and your fertilization is going to be there feeding it up, okay? The uptake into the roots. So that's my opinion.
Does rain affect that, Chris, with the nitrogen when it turns into a gas? If you throw fertilizer on your plot and it rains within a day or two, does that help keep that gas from turning into a gas and sinking that into your soil?
It will leach with moisture. Nitrogen will leach away fairly quickly in a couple of days, but obviously the rain will help it. Hopefully the roots are established and it's sucking the nitrogen up, so even when your seed is there, the nitrogen hopefully is feeding these seeds, okay, and it's going to help it get out of the ground, if that makes any sense.
Yep.
But
do you recommend fertilizing right when you seed, or do you want to have some growth first before you fertilize?
I always fertilize at planting, but after you get a couple weeks into this thing, you can go back and throw some other fertilizer on it. But P&K doesn't move a whole lot. Okay. Nitrogen moves fast. So that's why you see a lot of guys using urea, which is pure nitrogen. They'll be throwing nitrogen on their plants a couple of weeks after it comes up. They're
mostly
trying to get
brassicas.
they're trying to get that hard growth, that fast growth out of that, trying to give it a spike. And that's what they're doing. But do not put nitrogen on your plants while it's wet. Like if your leaves are wet and it just rained or something, or there's dew on them or something, wait till they dry out some and spread that nitrogen on then, because it will burn that plot to the ground. Okay. You don't want to burn your plants. Yep. You want to do that when it's dry.
Okay.
As you can tell, I'm passionate.
Well, no, that's why I wanted.
We could talk all day on this stuff, man.
Yeah, well, that's why
I don't know where to go next. Just throw something at me.
I think it was Boxy.
Boxy asked about lime.
Yeah, Boxy asked about the lime, and Boxy also asked about getting you up here and having you talk about the food plot. So
okay.
I want to give credit where credit is due. That was Boxy's idea, having you up here talking about the food plot.
If you go on my channel, so my brother has some property actually out there by Emlington, so real close to those guys there in Clarion. And of course, I no longer go on his property, but I was putting some food plots in, and you can actually go on my if you go on my channel and you look it up, you'll see some food plots. And I did exactly what Chris is kind of talking. So I just used an ATV and a spring harrow, and I broke the ground. I threw down, actually, what I first started with, because it was just overgrown with weeds. But we sprayed it. I sprayed the area out, and I actually threw the pelletized lime down the day that I sprayed.
Okay.
Then we went up there after it was all died off. We took that spring harrow and we raked it out until most of that was all that duff, I guess is what I would call it. We got that off of there, and then we planted a seed with fertilizer. And then after I started getting the it started to green up, I waited about 2 weeks. I went up on a day that I knew it had been dry, and we fertilized it. And I tell you what, I was really impressed that first year how well that plot did with that never being a tilled up area.
Mm-hmm.
And then the second year it just took off, and I really all I did is I kind of raked it up. I did frost seed it in the spring. We threw down a little bit more pelletized lime near the fall. Most of that stuff, the clover was just so thick. And I think when I put that next seed down, it kind of helped it because, the deer were coming in to eat that clover. And then in the fall, then all that other stuff.
Seed was regenerating, yeah.
Yeah. And but the lime, I think the lime and the fertilization definitely helped out with that. And then, of course, I didn't get in there on the third year. So,
yeah.
But I'm sure it's still going good.
Yeah, that's cool. Like Chris said and Boxy said, lime and fertilizer and a soil sample is a real big thing. Now, my dad, he's real adamant with the soil test. Well, the last 2 years we didn't do a soil test this year, and he was pretty upset about it. But we sort of had some information from last year, but that's also not a good thing to go if you're taking all the time and your effort, and your time is money and your work. And if you're taking all this time to put a food plot in, now we put in, I think we have 2.8 acres of food plots on our property that we introduced to our deer management system. My dad has a really nice one that I did this year, and you seen that last year. It came in real great with the dwarf Essex rape. I think I overplanted it last year because it was feeding on each other and it was turning yellow mid-season. So it was like I overseeded it. So we didn't make that mistake this year. But we have a main food plot in the middle of our property so we can create the wagon wheel, the hubs to the food plots and hunt those hubs. And that's another thing to get into about hunting over food plots as opposed to not hunting. But that could be another stream down the road there.
Yeah, for sure.
But the soil samples is definitely a big thing. We're right now we're at about 300 pounds of lime per acre for our plots. We're only using 10-10-10 right now because we just started our deer management program, and we're getting monies into the accounts to be able to use that money for certain things. We have a boom sprayer for liquid fertilizer. We have all this stuff ready and getting ready for action. We just haven't implemented that all into our food plot deer management program yet. But we installed 2.8 acres. But after that, we're going to just build on what we have.
Okay, let me throw some facts at you.
All right.
Okay, we're talking pH again with the lime. First of all, let me go back to the 10-10-10. You're buying a 50-pound bag, and I just told you that there's only 5 pounds of N, 5 pounds of P, 5 pounds of K. Guess what the other 35 pounds is? It's fillers and salts. Okay, and you're going to say, so what? Well, let me tell you what so what means to your pocketbook. Okay. Salts and fillers that they put in all this stuff actually lowers your pH. So you're trying to fertilize, okay, to feed your plants, but at the same time you're lowering your pH. It's not great.
You're fighting against it.
You're fighting against it. So you're not. I mean, it's not great amounts, but you gotta remember this, okay? And here's why. Okay, here's some facts. I'm gonna just read them right off. I got some notes here. If your pH comes back from a soil sample and it's only at 4.5, about 75% of the fertilizer you just put in the dirt is unusable. Okay, sounds terrible, right?
Yeah.
So that's why you want to get your pH up. If your pH is at a 5.0, at about 55% is unavailable to plants. If your pH is at 5.5, which doesn't sound bad, and a lot of people come in at that range, you're still throwing away about 33% of your fertilization. That's a big chunk of money, especially today's world that we just came out of, and hopefully the future ain't going to be feeding us those high prices again. Hopefully this stuff starts to drop. Even at a 6.0, which sounds great, okay, 20% is still unusable for your plants. That's horrible. That's why you want to get as close as you can to 7, because if not, you're throwing money down the toilet, okay?
Yeah.
And what we do to combat what I just told you is if you're using a bunch of fertilizer, you're actually fighting your pH. So if you got your pH good before you start and you got to add some fertilizer, what you want to do is throw a couple bags of Pel lime on it at time of planting also. That way it evens out. Okay. Does that make sense? I hope.
Yeah.
Um, you need to even that back out so you're not lowering. See, people that plant the same thing in the same spots every year and they don't get soil tests, it extracts certain things out of the soil. Okay. And you're throwing all that fertilization at it and not keeping up with the pH. Before you know it, your pH is so bad. And people say, oh, the second, third, fourth year was horrible in that spot. Well, they've extracted so much stuff and they didn't rebuild it. Okay.
Yeah.
So you need
That's
to
where I
keep
guess
that.
they rotate. You can rotate crops.
Yeah, you
too
can
for that
rotate
situation
things.
also.
And one way, another way to save money is to be planting legumes. And legumes are bean-like plants or clover-like plants. They're stuff that have nitrogen-fixing nodules on the roots. And these nodules come after the roots get established. And these nodules affix themselves to the roots and they feed nitrogen to that plant as it grows. Now, you get these people on Facebook forums and it just grates my nerves. They say, you can plant clover, you don't need nitrogen. Well, I'm sorry, I'm here to tell you that everything you plant needs starter fertilization, okay? You don't want to skip that process. You need to have a little bit of starter with everything that you plant. That gives you the best chances of that thing coming out of the ground, healthy. Okay. So these guys that are on Facebook forums telling you, what are you, crazy? You don't need nitrogen. You're planting clover. Clover has nitrogen. Well, a seed does not have nitrogen. Eventually, when your clover grows and establishes and nitrogen affixes itself to those roots and it gets that nitrogen from either your fertilization from the ground or it actually absorbs it out of the atmosphere too. I mean, your atmosphere has a lot of nitrogen in it. So there's a whole lot to this, and I mean, I could go on for days.
Yeah, you definitely should. So basically, Chris, what you're saying, you got to make sure your pH balance is where it needs to be, or you're throwing money away with your fertilizer.
As close to 7 as you can get it. Everything below a 7.0 is wasted money. And as far as Pel lime and agricultural lime and stuff like that, Pel lime is a Band-Aid. And I know we all only have access to a lot of that, or we have a place so small that you can't get a lime truck into or something like that, or you just can't get ag lime in the area you're in, whatever the case. But Pel lime needs to be kept up with every year. And that's why it's so important to get these soil tests, because your Pel lime goes away just like the nutrients. That's why you're fertilizing and liming every year, because it's a Band-Aid. It's like this liquid calcium that they're offering this year. All these companies have this liquid calcium. Well, it's calcium carbonate that is doing the work that you want to do. And a lot of these companies have calcium this or that, and it's not calcium carbonate. So, a lot of that stuff is a gimmick. You got to watch out. You got to protect yourself.
Yeah. And Ottercat just put up there that not all limes are created equal.
Correct. I had a guy come in with a lime truck, and that was the best thing I ever did, because I was toting pallets of lime every year and spreading that stuff. I actually got a whirlybird on the back of my four-wheeler, kind of like a salt spreader on a truck. Same idea that goes on my four-wheeler, and I was you can put 2 bags at a time in, but when you get a pallet of lime, 40, 50 bags, that's a lot of slinging, man. And like I said, you got to keep up on it. You just can't skip it. It's just silly to food plot without having soil tests. It really is, because you're just wasting your money if not.
Yeah. And that's my dad through and through. He preaches that all the time. And the younger guys in the club, sometimes we're saying, we're good. We'll just go on what we did last year. And I'm even, a part of that. And my dad's like, let's take the test. And this year we didn't. So we'll see. But we overlimed it this year. So I'm hoping the pH is good.
It's the best $20 insurance program you can have,
Yeah.
because all those tests are under $20. I think the Penn State ones I pay $11 for.
Yeah, they're like $9 or $11 or something like
Yeah,
that.
something like that, and then it costs you a couple bucks to put it in a cardboard box. One price shipping at the local post office.
Now
I
let
throw
me
three or
ask you.
four of them in a box and I send them.
Yeah, let me ask you this now. When you have,
Yes.
say, you have a half an acre plot,
Yes.
what is your best way to send? Because I hear stories all the time. You take a sample from each corner and one in the middle, like a number 5, like a dice. Where do you take your soil sample, the dirt from in your plot, and
Okay.
how deep do you do it?
All right. Good
how
question.
many do you mix it up? Do you send it? Give me your spiel on how you take your soil sample.
Okay, this is how I do it, and I think it makes sense. Um, First of all, like I mentioned earlier, if you have hillside or sloping property, you want to take your tests at the top, because that's where your nutrients and pH is going to be the weakest, because everything leaches downhill. Okay, so if you've got sloping land, I'd go towards the top, and a lot of times I just go diagonally across my property because I have a lot of flat stuff. So I'll just start in one corner and I'll just go diagonally. I'll take as many as 5 or 6, in an acre, and just mix it all together. And you touched on how deep. You want to be no less than 6 inches. A lot of times you want to get down at least 6 inches, because a lot of your topsoil, might be an inch or two, and then you get into some loamy stuff, and then you get into some clay or whatever. So you want to give them a good reading of what you got going on. So I would go 6 inches minimum. I know some people don't like to do that, but you got to do what's good for you.
Yeah.
You're only cheating yourself.
Yeah.
You are. So, but yeah, then I dump it in a bucket. I mix it all together. You get about a cup out of it. In these tests, they give you baggies, and there's a fill line on it. So you got to fill it up to a certain line, give them enough, and then you send it off. And there's a lot of times you can check a box on the tests. It'll say email me my results, or just mail it to me. And a lot of times I pick the mailing because I want it printed out for me already. Sometimes I'll actually take that to the field with me sometimes, and I'll be for notation purposes, and I'll be like, looking at that, and then there's also certain things on your tests too that I want to get into. There's something on the bottom of your tests. You're probably not going to be able to see that, called CEC. CEC is a cation exchange. And for layman's terms, let's just keep it simple here, because it could get really deep. But you want to watch that CEC number. And the reason why you want to watch that number also is because that will tell you how much, and it pertains mostly to nitrogen content and your fertilization, how much at one point in time can you put on the type of soil that you have, that they're telling you have on these. Okay. And what you do is you take the number that they give you, and as a rough estimate, you multiply that times 10. Okay. So if you get a 7 on your test, the CEC says 7, and you roughly multiply that by 10, that's 70 pounds at one point in time that you can put on without wasting your money. There's another thing to save money on, so if your recommendation says you need 300 pounds, well, guess what? You put 300 pounds on where only your soil can handle 70 pounds. You've just wasted a ton of money. Okay.
Gotcha.
So then what you do is you do split applications. You put 70 on now, wait a couple weeks, put 70 more on, and so on, so forth. Maybe a couple months down the road or whatever. You split it up. Do some split application. You can't always put it on all in one spot, one spreading.
Yep. Big Tiny's in here too.
Yeah, I'm just saying hi to him too. I'm terrible at watching this chat and trying to talk too.
Well, you're into it. That's what I like about it.
I'm too passionate that I can't even look at the chat.
There's nothing wrong with that.
I'm making eye contact. I'm giving facts.
Yeah.
information.
I'm trying to share some stuff that you're talking about on the film, so I'm hoping you guys are seeing it. I'm kind of scrolling through it just to give you an idea of maybe where to look if you want information, like on the soil test samples and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I'm just throwing them up and sharing screens while you're talking. That's what I'm doing behind
Oh,
here.
and
So.
these guys can get a hold of me. Anybody that's in that chat or anybody watching, you can get a hold of me and I'll get back to you. I answer everybody. I mean, you can. I think my email's at my about page on Facebook. You can message me on that Instagram. Get on my Instagram, like me there, follow me there. Man, I'll answer anything I can. You know, as long as it doesn't cost me a whole lot of money. You know.
Yeah, and
I,
see what Glenn said right there. It's cheaper if your neighbor plants and you hunt the fence lines.
yeah, no doubt, no doubt,
I
no
like
doubt.
that. Yeah.
Well, and that's what my neighbors are doing to me.
Uh-huh.
But you know what? They're on their property. There's nothing I can say.
Yeah.
But I got to showcase. I got to showcase my seed. Oh, this camera's backwards. I got to showcase my company domain here. They're nice enough to get me that seed, and I'm advertising for them. And I make it pretty, so when they post something, people can see that it's good stuff.
No, Glenn said he's joking. I know, Glenn. I was just putting that up. I thought that was funny. But let me ask you this, Chris, while we're on that subject with neighbors and hunting your property and like neighbors hunting fence line. Where do you recommend, like we have 100 and some acres down at our place, and we were told, I don't know if anybody's familiar with Whitetail Driven Solutions. He's on YouTube, Josh, and he came down to our place and he gave us some pointers and stuff. And he told us to keep our food plots sort of like center hub of our property. Don't push them out. But then there's times where you should put them on the edge of your property. Do you have any knowledge or want to tell anybody like where you would do placements of your food plots, where and why?
Yeah, location, right?
Yeah.
But it makes sense sometimes, as he told you, not to put it all in the center hub. And I'm going to say why. This is the reasoning. You have to have entrance and exit strategies into your stands.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're going to be pushing deer or busting or blowing deer out, it's no good. So, yeah, if you have, for instance, you have a neighbor's fence line, and like that guy said, Glenn, he said, go on the edge of their plots or whatever. Sometimes it makes sense because you can plant. I mean, you're obviously not going to beat somebody that's got 100 acres of ag there.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously the deer are going over there and eating.
Mm-hmm.
You don't necessarily have to keep deer on your property. You just have to have them pass through and slow down long enough. And that's what these kill plots are great for. Mm-hmm. You get them to come through, and I plant buffer plot or buffer strips and things along the woods sometimes. You plant that little buffer strip, and it's got to be just something sweet and just something to slow them down so you can get an eyeball on them and decide whether or not you're going to shoot that animal.
Mm-hmm.
So that sometimes is a way to plant up against a neighbor that has ag field. But not only that, but you have to think this way too. If they have an ag field beside you, they're going to pick that before the season starts, and there's not going to be any food over there. So now those deer are going to transition and start coming to your plots. So you need to keep that in mind. A lot of people say, I don't need a food plot. I got ag next door. Well, guess what? They pick that. Mm-hmm. Same thing with apple trees. Guys are, should I plant these apple trees or chestnuts or whatever? Well, how long is it going to take for you to ever get an apple or a nut off that tree? Mm-hmm. Your grandkids might, but it's probably not going to benefit you, or the fruit falls before the season and it's no good to you to hunt over anyhow.
Yeah. Now, my dad planted chestnut trees, and we got 4 or 5 at our property that are as big as the house, and they are loaded with chestnuts. But it took a few years to get there.
Yeah, if they're producing, that's a good thing.
Producing. Yeah,
but to go out and buy or take a nut and plant it, you're probably looking at what, 15, 20 years?
Same with an acorn tree. That's why hard mass is tough. I would prefer to grow soft mass as opposed to hard mass any day, because the soft mass is within 3 to 5 to 7 years, you're going to get a soft mass production.
Yeah.
We have a lot of apples on our property that we're going to be actually pruning and fertilizing this year because we already have the food there. We don't need to buy more trees or anything. We just got to take care of what we have there on the land.
Yeah,
so that's what we're going to be doing.
For the guys that planting, acorns and going to get an
Mm-hmm.
oak tree out of it, that's going to take a long time. And I'm not going to discourage you from it. I mean, sometimes you want to leave it better than you came to it, and that's
Yeah.
great
Yeah.
for future generations or for your kids. That's awesome. Do it. I don't discourage it, but if you're looking to hunt over it, you're probably not going to get that chance unless you're a very young man. And the reason I say that is because, like an oak tree, what you see on top of the ground is what's below the ground in roots. An oak
Mm-hmm.
tree grows down in roots and stuff. It grows down and establishes all of that before it squirts up. I've been living at this house now. We built this house. It's I've been here 20 years. And when I moved in, there was a little oak tree that I would not run over or pull out or anything when we was destroying this property to put a house in. And there was this one little tree, and it was like maybe 2 foot tall. And I'm like, we're gonna have us an oak tree one day.
Mm-hmm.
20 years later, that sucker is only like 10 feet tall.
Yeah, it's tough
You know,
growing oaks. It's hard to watch, but I
and who
get
knows when I'll
the
get a nut
point.
off of it.
I get the point
You
of
know,
planting them for the future. I do get that.
yeah,
But, when I'm hunting and trying to grow the land for me, for my hunting experience for my kids, yeah, planting the hard mass is okay for certain areas. For like
right,
later in life, when if you want to deforest or if you want to use wood, you want to tree
yeah,
it up and make some money down the road.
yeah,
But there's a difference between growing trees to harvest for money and having good deer management
yeah. Sure,
habitat.
there
So
is. Sure,
there's
there is.
definitely two different areas, and they're both totally different.
Sure, there is.
So growing nut trees is awesome, but
And that
eventually they're going to go stagnant, and you're going to have to tree them out and get
that
the money for them.
brings up another point too. These guys that are timbering, yeah, they're timbering. They want the money out of it, yeah, but they better, if they want a good future, they ought to select cut.
Hmm.
Um, if they're going in and clear cutting, oh yeah, that's going to create habitat, no doubt. Because
Hmm.
once the sun hits that bare ground, everything's going to sprout and it's going to come up thick. But the problem with that is when it comes up that thick, only the strong survive. So you're going to have trees that are reaching for the sky, and not only that, they're not going to fill out. They're just going to come up straight like a pencil. They're fighting for that sunlight,
Hmm.
and the other trees around them, they're fighting for dominance. And you're not going to have a good stand of trees in the end. And
Hmm.
it's something to think about.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. But yeah, there's another. What was the question? I had another question for you to answer. What the heck was it? I can't remember. I'll think about it as we're going, and I'll probably
Okay.
mention it again.
Okay.
But
Boxy,
yeah,
did I answer your question well enough?
Absolutely. Yes.
Okay. I'm hoping that's making sense to everybody in the chat. And I'm not watching the chat real close. Like I said, I'm not multitasking very well.
I'm on it pretty good. I know Boxy's watching the chat too, so he's answering some stuff. Does anybody in the chat have any questions for Chris that they could think of right off the bat that they'd like to know?
Oh,
If
that's a
you
good one.
if
Yeah.
you do, feel free to put it in the chat, and I'll put it up on screen, and we'll answer, or Chris will answer, or whoever can answer the question. Feel
Yeah. And
free
if
to
you don't
answer it.
want to do it in a public forum, like I said, you can email me. You could get me on Instagram there and message me. That would be fine too.
So here's something pretty interesting here. Ottercat says, "Don't fertilize your apple trees. Fertilizer stimulates growth, but basically kills the bloom."
Hmm.
And I had no idea that
Yeah.
could
I'm,
do that.
I'm
I
not
know
sure.
I know we're looking to buy bees to help with pollination down at our place because we were a little bit low on bees this year, and our pear trees and apple trees really didn't produce anything. We had a ton of bloom, but we didn't have any pollination. So getting we're looking into getting some bees for next year down there.
Mm-hmm.
But I did not know that about apple trees and fertilizer.
Well, maybe that's why they tell you get those tree spikes or whatever. Them
Hmm.
slow release.
Here's a question right there from Big Tiny.
Best mix of seeds for your plot. Well, it all depends.
In
And that's a
PA,
that's
that
a
is, he
loaded
said.
question. Oh,
He
in
said
PA.
in
Well, that's a
PA. Yeah,
loaded
in PA.
question, Rick. Loaded question. I'll tell you why. You gotta have a plan. You gotta know what you want. Like we were talking earlier. Like if you want a hunting plot and you want it to last long, you want it to be thick. High stem count is what you want. You want you want a lot of stuff close together. And if you want a fall plot, now I'm a big fan of mixing annuals and perennials in a plot. And the reason why I say that is because after the deer in the winter hits hard on your plot, in the spring, if you don't have some perennials in there, you're going to have nothing left. They're going to wipe you clean, and there's not going to be anything for them out there. And, that's when they're going to be coming and eating your tulips as soon as they come up, in the spring. But yeah, I like to mix the annuals. A lot of these blends by domain. Hey, there's my cousin Bill. Bill Hammer. Please tell my cousin Chris I said hi. Bill Sago. I was blessed with a nice buck. I seen that, Bill. Congratulations, brother. But yeah,
Congrats, Bill.
that's my cousin. He's done in correct me if I'm wrong, Bill. Clareton? Still in the Clareton area, I think.
Is he by me then? He's by me.
He's Pittsburgh guy. Yep.
Yeah, he's
But
by me then. He
yeah,
ain't
as
too far
far
away.
as what you're planting, yeah, you want to have. I started to say domain has a lot of mixes. You got it, Bill. They got a lot of good mixes that have the annuals and perennials already in them. And like I said, you don't want to wipe the slate clean because then they have nothing in the spring. And at least perennials, I mean legumes, clovers, chicory, your grains. Winter rye, winter wheat will come back in the spring. It'll be the first thing to green up. And that's what you want. You want some clovers and those greens in that plot early on because, man, turkey season comes in. And you want them to be coming to your fields, right? I mean,
Chicory, clover, chicory, all
yeah.
that stuff.
Yep.
You could tell though. I don't know if Boxy could see it too, but I could see it. I could hear it in your voice how passionate you are about the food plots, man. That's why I wanted to have you up here talking about it because it's great listening to you and watching you how passionate you are about it. It's really cool.
I am.
Thing.
I'm deep with it, man. And I like I said, I just wish more people would sub and stick around and see what I got.
That'll happen, man. It'll happen for you. It'll definitely happen.
But I mean, that's not my only deal either. I'm just not a food plotter. I mean, they gotta get on the train here, man, and watch those hunts. And I have little tips and tactics and little secrets that I share there.
I got a question for you, Chris, coming from me.
Okay.
What do you think about rye grain, not rye grass?
Gotcha.
Everybody mixes that up,
yes.
And they'll go buy a bag of rye grass, and it ruins their whole food plot. But we had 150 pounds of rye grain that we use, and we scatter it. What I used it for is I put a rye grain plot in, just a strip, about 20 yards wide, the whole length of our field. Okay. Last year, it grew in great. It stayed green all season. Throughout the winter, snow was melting. It was still there and green. So the deer were using it. They were coming in because I was always told green late in the season is what you want, green.
Yes,
okay?
yes.
So then we would scatter that in our plots. If our plots would get overeaten or something and we'd have spots in our plots, we would throw rye grain into those spots. Okay.
Yeah, it's a great for overseeding bare spots. Okay. Sure is.
Now that brings me to my next question. What we did, we planted this year is we had rape, we had purple top turnips, daikon radishes, Australian peas. And the Australian peas was the reason why for the nitrogen we wanted to put back in the nitrogen. So
it's a legume. Sure.
Yeah, we're growing the peas with that, and then we sprinkled in some winter wheat in with it.
Gotcha.
And that was what was told by Whitetail Driven Solutions. And
I think I told you that too.
And you might have told me that too. Is that a good mix to having that winter wheat with the peas in there throughout the season?
I'm gonna be honest. I like winter wheat way better than winter rye, and I'll tell you why. And I'll tell you why. You could actually pick each one of them and taste it. Okay, you can taste this stuff as long as you're not spraying it with chemicals. Yeah. You can taste this stuff, eat it. You will find that the rye is bitter. And if it's bitter to us, it's bitter to the deer. Their senses are so much high. Their height of sense is so much greater than our smell, taste, all of it. Hearing. I mean, it's crazy. But anyhow, you could actually pick it and taste it. I mean, even with your brassicas.
I do that all the time.
You can go out. And the guy I used to work with, he thought it was hilarious. I'd go out. I'd pick a purple top turnip out of the ground. I just wipe the dirt off it and just eat it. And he's like, "What are you doing?" It just tastes like a radish, dude. I love radishes. Yeah. And then I would just reach out and grab a radish and wipe the dirt off it and start eating it. He's like, "You're nuts." I'm like, "Dude, it's good. I like it." Yeah. But you can actually tell something by the way it tastes. You taste it. You can taste it yourself. But anyhow, getting back to the question, I like the winter wheat, and here's why. When we tested it, we planted a patch of winter wheat and a patch of winter rye, and those deer walked through the winter rye to get to the winter wheat.
Okay.
Now, every once in a while, they'd stop, put their head down, and pick a little bit, but they were headed for the winter wheat. Okay, so that told me something right there. See, that I'm a huge experimental guy. Like you watch my channels, or you watch my channel, you watch my videos. You see me experimenting a lot. I take risks a lot. I do a lot of weird stuff that way, but it's on my dime. It ain't costing you nothing to subscribe and watch it and learn from it. But I like to do a lot of stuff like that because I think it's interesting. Who would think to go down and grab it and eat it for yourself? This is deer food, right? No, this is stuff like you could be eating in your own garden. Some
Salad.
of the stuff. Yeah, and that's what it basically is. The greens off of it. I mean, how many people do you know like dandelions? Dandelions is huge. Animals like dandelions. I mean, we shot some turkeys and we opened them up and checked the craw, and it was full of dandelions, that plantain, and all that stuff there. And we had a whole plot full of stuff there, and they were picking what we call weeds out and eating it. So when they tell you, your plot has to be perfect, it don't have to be perfect either. I mean, they eat weeds, they eat certain things, that you wouldn't think that they would. I mean, you can't even poison a deer. They eat poison ivy and mountain laurel and stuff. They aren't poisoned like we can be. It's just crazy. But yeah, to answer your question, I like winter wheat mixed in. I mean, they're both good. Don't get me wrong. They're both going to green up. They both germinate low at like 37 degrees or something like that. So you get a warm day in the spring, like in March when the sun comes out and there's no snow over it, covering it. Guess what, man? It's starting to come back. And that's how you get that big green grassy field looking thing right before spring turkey starts. And man, you want that and some clover mixed, and they're in it, But you can actually, a lot of people in these forums will tell you, oh, you can just mow winter wheat and winter rye and it'll terminate. That's not altogether true. You can actually mow it sometimes and it'll grow back. It's just like grass in your yard. It's an actual grass. These things are grasses. Glyphosate will wipe them out, so they're considered a grass. Yep. So you can actually mow it like grass and it'll keep coming back, but you have to hit it in that dough stage, when it's getting mature. That's how it terminates, or you can crimp it like you're going to do.
Yeah, and that's how we handle our clover like that. We planted clover last year, and we went up to my dad's field this year, and one half was really growing good with clover, but there was weeds mixed in with it. So what we did was we just cut it high. We cut the weeds like just above the clover to get it so that clover overtakes. So the clover's spreading in the one area that we want to. So we fertilized that and we left it and we cut it, just that area. And then I tilled the rest of the area because we want that clover, that mixture. Because we don't have much clover. We didn't plant much clover at all down there. We did the dwarf Essex rape. We did the turnips, the radishes, and the wheat and the peas. Yep. And then I sprinkled some rye in some areas that we just opened up and just tilled this year. So we planted that with our 150 pounds of rye just to get something growing so we can sweeten the soil for next year.
Wheat and rye is beneficial to your soil, like you said.
Yeah.
It is cheap and it grows easy. You can grow it in a bed of a pickup truck if you spill it.
Yeah, you can grow it on the cement, yeah.
It's easy to grow. The deer like it. It's beneficial. And here's a big word coming. It's allelopathic. Allelopathic means that it has certain acids, acidic stuff in it that actually deters roots from growing or weeds growing around it. So it actually helps with a little bit of weed control, Okay. So if you got this winter wheat, you got winter rye on, you got like dwarf Essex rape or something like that, or something that's big and leafy, it's gonna keep the weeds at bay. That dwarf Essex spreads out real nice. Same with the leafy tops on the brassicas and things.
Yeah, I overplanted it last year though because it was fighting itself and it was turning yellow towards the end. So I knew I overseeded it. So this year I didn't overseed it. It's so hard to plant that little pepper seed.
Oh, it is.
Spreader on I was going 60 mile an hour on my quad to try to get it all out,
It's tough.
It'll go like that. So
it's tough to gauge that, and they got those gauges on the side. You can turn and set the gate. And I usually start at the lowest setting, and I get get that down as low as it can. And you can't even see it coming out. You know, you're thinking, is
it's
anything
tough.
coming out? But man, I would rather go over it a couple of times and make sure I have enough seed, spread it all over the plot, and then crisscross. You know,
Well, sometimes what I'll do,
crisscross
Chris,
pattern.
is I'll throw the pelletized lime in with the seed, and that helps, get it spread out so you can see it.
Yeah.
I throw pelletized lime in with the clovers and the Essex and all that stuff because you can see the lime better than you can the seed coming out. So
Right.
I'll go in lime and seed at the same time. And we do have a bag spreader, and my dad's food plot is about, I don't know, Dad, you're on here. I'm going to say 1/4 acre to a 1/2 acre, which I hand seeded that this year. But the other bigger plots, our big 1 acre plot, I used a quad, and the other plots we used a quad for the rye and everything.
Yeah.
So. But his plot is like one of those kill plots, and then that'll bring me up to my next question here.
Yeah.
In a few minutes here, and Box, are you okay?
Yeah, I'm good. I'll probably stick up here for a little bit longer.
Okay, cool.
It is going for 9 o'clock. I probably should get going.
It goes fast when you're having fun, don't it?
It does.
Oh, yeah. It's an interesting subject, and like I know, Chris has the passion, and there's a lot of people, including myself, that that knowledge that he has, and as he said, he can talk to us for days probably, and just knowing all the little intricate things that that Chris has put in that he's willing to share, and I hope there's people out there that can come across his channel and actually get into his channel and watch some of this, because if you're into putting in food plots and stuff and you want it to be successful, Chris has already put in the work. Just reach out to him and ask him questions. He'll let you know. But,
and if anybody in the chat doesn't have Chris's or needs to know Chris's, feel free to get a hold of Boxy or get a hold of me, and we'll be happy to share the information with Chris's information with you. But we have his channel up here a few times, but definitely go check City Sticker.
Yeah, and I think a big problem is I'm not a big editor. I'm not good in front of the camera. I lose my train of thought real easily. So yeah, my videos aren't spectacular. I mean, if you're looking for tricks and things, on camera, I don't have it. This is me. I'm better at doing this and carrying on a conversation face to face or to people in chat. I'm way better in person or like this type of venue. I don't consider myself a YouTube guy. I mean, I'm not that great at it, and I don't have any, I don't have any smoke and mirrors. But man, I a straight shooter, man. I ain't giving you any bull crap. I just like I said, if I don't have an answer, I get you one.
Yep.
But yeah, I'm not an expert, but yeah, I experiment a lot and do a lot of different things. Yep, for sure. Yep. Cool. So, hit me up with some other questions, folks.
Yeah, if anybody has any other questions.
I am going to drop down off of here. Okay. I will probably stay in the chat, and I'll probably be listening here going forward. But great time as always. And,
Thank you.
Hey, guys, hit him up. Make sure you're watching the video in full. Make sure you give him a genuine comment, and then hit that subscribe button. But as always, you guys all have a blessed night, and go out there and share your passion.
Thanks, Boxy.
Before you go, Boxy, we got to let everybody know. Boxy and I are partners.
I know.
In the buck pool, buddy. Freezer binds buck pool. We got to get it done.
Do you want to say the name of your team? Do you want to say the name of your team on here?
Oh boy, I don't know.
You can say it on my channel. Go ahead.
It was a play on words again.
It was.
Well, I'm in the 2F zone in the state, and I know Boxy sometimes comes to this zone, and we was trying to figure out a name, and we was like, I suggested two overdue dudes, overdue as in like, man, we need to like win this thing sometime. But then I wrote back to him and I was like, how about this one? 2 effing dudes.
There you go. That's a good one. I like the name.
And I don't swear, but it's a good play. It's a good play on words.
No, it's a good one. It's a
2
good
effing dudes, man. We're from 2F. We're 2 effing dudes. But yeah, we're partners in the freezer bond buck pool.
Yeah, I'm in that with my buddy Bob. We're called Team Kishke. His last name and my last name. So
okay.
Yeah, I like that. Yeah.
Yeah, we did the. You ever see Candy Kiski, the Kiskis?
Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
we just did a play on words, sort of, and his last
Okay,
name's Kish, and I got Ski in my name, so we got
right.
Kish Ski. So we
You're not
went with
Polish,
that
are you?
a little bit, a little bit.
Messing with you.
But that's another's live stream.
Oh yeah, we can go. We can go on.
Yeah. All right, Boxy. Well, hey,
Boxy,
it was
All right, guys.
awesome, man.
Yep.
thanks for
Thank you
Hey,
coming
so
have a
on,
much,
blessed
bud.
one.
buddy.
Yeah. I'll still be hanging in. I'll be coming
Yep.
in and I'll be listening. Yep.
Okay.
Okay, okay.
No problem,
Hey,
buddy.
Catch you
everybody,
later.
good luck out there in the hunting woods.
All right,
Good
Boxy.
luck,
Thank you so
Boxy.
much.
We'll see you. So yeah,
All right.
like I said, I'm horrible at keeping up with this chat because I'm making eye contact and I'm making points, and if I looked over there, I'll lose all my stuff. What's this? My cousin saying Chris is a superstar when hunting and planning. He has come a long way. Very proud of him. Thanks, Bill. Bill's my older cousin, man. He's
I'm gonna
obviously
paste.
obviously
ahead, I'm
he's
sorry.
known obviously he's known me all my life, but
I'm
yeah,
gonna share the stream again, Chris.
sure,
And here, if anybody wants to pop up on the panel, they can come up also.
yeah,
There was a couple, and I remember the questions that I said I couldn't remember to ask you.
yeah.
And I'm
Do
sitting there like,
you think
and
of
I'm
him?
thinking, and I'm thinking, what the heck did I want to ask? Oh, yeah. Okay, so we're talking about food plots. We're talking about planting food plots. And if you grow a nice food plot and you have a food plot here, what's your take on hunting in a food plot, taking a deer in a food plot? Should you hunt a food plot? Should you hunt the areas going to and from your food plot? Do you believe in shooting a deer out of your food plot? And how do you hunt your food plot?
Okay, I like I said before, I mainly hunt does at night.
Out of your
Yeah,
food plot?
out of my plots. I usually hunt does, and I usually hunt after work, so I'm an evening hunter there. Um, the only reason why I say that is because I got a spot that has big bucks in it, and it's hard to get to, and people are lazy, and they don't go as deep as I do. So I go to these areas, and I usually get a nice buck every year. I mean, I'm blessed that way.
Mhm.
So, so yeah, I hardly even hunt my plots, people. I'm being quite honest. I hardly hunt them. I hunt them early on in the season because I'm trying to get some speed venison in the freezer. Trying to shoot some does, because man, I'm polluted right here with does. I'm literally polluted. I mean, when I got out of the tree yesterday, I waited till all the deer exited because we had some really high winds, and I exited. I got out, and I was walking out of the woods, and I look over, and this doe stands up right beside me and just watches me. Didn't run.
Mhm.
She just watched me. She watched me walk away. They're so used to seeing me there
Mhm.
and seeing some of the neighbors,
Yep.
cruising around doing their thing, that a lot of them aren't even afraid of us anymore.
Mhm.
I mean, of course they're cautious. I mean, they're smart, man. They know when you're hunting them and when you're not. You
Mhm.
know, I mean, they'll lay in my backyard right in the clover as they were doing tonight before I got on the live stream. They're laying in my backyard in the clover plot, and they know I'm not after them. But if I go down in my woods and they walk under me, yeah, they're getting an arrow. Yeah,
Yeah, it's crazy how the deer can pattern you.
yeah, for sure.
There was a real big buck in Ohio. My buddy was hunting a couple years ago, and he would have pictures during the day. He would have pictures at night. Nice big 14 point. It was a 160 class deer. He wanted this deer so bad, and he would walk into his stand every morning, and he would not see the deer. He would walk in. He would hunt his deer. He'd have it on film. He'd have it during the day. He'd go in, wouldn't see this deer, wouldn't see this deer. One day we were there, and he was hunting, and I was in my stand, and he's like, all right, let's get out. Let's go eat lunch or whatever. We get out of the stand. We go eat lunch. We come back. He checks his camera. That deer was there a half hour after he left that stand.
Oh my.
And he was hunting it religiously
Huh.
for 2 months. And he got out of the stand. That deer knew when he was in that stand.
Wow.
And I believe that. I really do believe that. And also, hey, Rick, what's up, buddy? How are you?
Good, good. How's everybody?
There
Good,
he is.
real good.
It's Rick.
So,
But yeah,
that was the
as far as
question
you
with the
as far as you saying how I hunt them and things, obviously I take wind into consideration. I keep
big
I keep
thing.
everything I keep everything washed up. I put it in either plastic bags or plastic bins when I'm not wearing it. I keep everything scent free as possible. I check the wind. If it's not right, I just go somewhere else.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, like I said, I usually use the plots, the destination plots. Now I'm talking that big 20-acre field with the 22-acre field with the 2 acres that I have all zoned out with domain
Yeah.
stuff in. Those
Mm-hmm.
destination plots, those are evenings. Now, like my woods plot down here, I'll hunt it any time of the
Yeah,
day.
because you're in the woods.
Yeah,
Basically.
it's any time of the day. I could see anything down there at any point. It's just crazy down there, and that's why I was so surprised I didn't see anything Saturday, but the turkeys and small game. But
Mm-hmm.
yeah, that's any time of the day I could go down there. A lot of times they're bedding right behind my tree stand. Sometimes I'll walk in there and blow them out.
Mm-hmm.
But
Mm-hmm.
it where I live is a camping destination for people from Ohio and New York and things. It's a tourist trap is what I call it, all
Okay.
around my area, and so they smell humans and perfumes and the smell from your coming from your dryer vent,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
all that
Yeah.
smelly stuff you put in there, that frou-frou.
Yeah.
they smell all that stuff, man. And
Yeah.
and I don't know, it might have been you and I talking about that the other day. I know people that actually smoke their
Yeah.
clothes. They go out to the
Mm-hmm.
campfire and hang them over to smoke and
Yeah.
get their clothes smoky.
My taxidermist will smoke his clothes. He has an old metal lockers,
Okay.
school lockers, and
Yeah.
he smokes he hangs everything in his lockers and he smokes them and lets it come out of the vents and he does that and then you're good for a couple days, couple hunts with it,
Yep.
doing it that way.
Yep. Yep, for sure. So these deer are on my right at my house, at my
Yeah.
vicinity here, across the
Mm-hmm.
road, and at my property. Um, they're used to seeing people.
Yeah, and that's the same with
Not
me down
not
here.
that they're walking up to you if they see you,
Yeah, yeah.
but they will watch you, or
Mm-hmm.
they will recognize when you're around or whatever. You got to be stealthy about it.
Yeah, there's
Um,
definitely a difference between urban hunting, like in my area here, down by the house, by the golf course
yeah,
and stuff.
yeah.
With I can tell the difference between hunting deer here and then going out to Ohio and hunting those deer. They're
Hmm.
definitely. I mean, if you're 200 yards away and the wind switches, they're gone. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
But here they're smelling the bacon and eggs in the morning. They're
Oh yeah,
listening
yeah.
to the kids at the bus stop.
Yeah,
So it's a
walking
lot
through your
different.
garden, eating.
Yeah, it's a
One of
lot
the
different.
one of the biggest bucks I shot was when I lived in Verona down there on the edge of Pittsburgh. I mean, there was a 10-acre patch of woods above my house, um, and I could only hunt like maybe 2 or 3 acres of the
Hmm.
10.
Yeah.
Lots of tree huggers down there. Didn't want you there, you know, and they made it clear. But anyhow, yeah, they was just walking around raiding gardens, and
Yeah.
passing through, and that
Mm.
was one of the biggest bucks I shot was in that urban environment. But talking differences of places you hunt,
Yeah.
turkeys here are ridiculously hard to kill. Ridiculous. I mean, yeah, I know. I go back to Pittsburgh, and turkeys are walking around people's yards and things. Um, Up here, the the turkey population is slow. First of all, it's small, um, but they're so educated.
Yeah.
Since there's not a lot of them, they get educated so easily.
Hmm.
Um, but you've got, like I said, it's a tourist trap. You got guys coming in from other places coming here to camp on weekends, and they want to go scouting. So they bring their turkey call, and they call turkeys a couple weeks before season. They get them all educated,
Yep.
or
Yep.
they're scouting, and they want to go out and listen for birds in the morning. Well, like they hear a bird gobble and they try to get within 20 yards of the thing, you
Hmm.
know.
Yep.
So the bird sees them when they fly down or whatever, spook them,
Yep.
or you have happened what happened to me this year. People came in after light, set up behind me because the birds were gobbling,
Hmm.
and the birds were going around me, and I didn't have a shot, and they went up past me, and they just opened up, never even hit
Hmm.
a bird.
Yeah.
They come in late, come in with their headlights into the woods, slammed the doors, and then hit the key fob, beep beep, and locked their
Yeah.
doors. Let every turkey in the nation know that they were there, you
Yeah.
know. And then they started coming towards me. They went around me, and that was my unfortunate, but
Yeah. I believe
misfortune.
that a lot of I hunt I got to figure out the hunters when you're hunting too. Sometimes you got to hunt the hunters. Like you got to go back where they're not. You got to figure out where the hunters are hunting, where they're coming in at, what they're doing, how far they're walking in, and you have to be that exception to the game. Like you have to go further, go a little bit further than that to do, to get that edge. And I believe you got to hunt. You got to pattern the other hunters just like you're patterning
Yeah.
deer.
That's why I said I buck hunt way far away
Mm-hmm.
from anybody.
Yeah.
I mean, where I go, if somebody passes through there, it's either accidental or they're heading somewhere else and just pass through,
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
it's different on the first day of a buck or first day of bear or something. You get people pushing around, but like where I go archery hunt, you have to be crazy to drag all your crap to where I go. It is stupid, but hey,
Yeah.
that's where I shoot the big bucks at,
Yeah.
I mean,
Now, there's a lot of people, now, what Boxy's saying here with the scouting with the turkey call. I don't believe in scouting for turkey and calling the turkey, but I do believe if you're still hunting deer and you have a turkey call on you, like a mouth call, and you're walking through the woods and you're trying to be stealthy and sneak up on a group of deer or something, every once in a while, if you have a turkey call in your mouth, it doesn't hurt to act like a turkey making noise in the woods as you're stalking deer and making a turkey call here and there. I've seen that done, and I've done that
Yeah.
before to sort of blend in with acting like a turkey,
Yeah.
walking and making noise, the crunching, so the deer know that it's a turkey, and they sort of ease up a little bit. I've
yeah,
done
that
before.
that could work as long as it's not the overlap of the fall bird season.
Well, exactly, exactly.
You better have some orange on or you're getting shot.
Yeah. What's up, Dan? Thank you for coming in, buddy. I appreciate you, Dan. Thank you, droning veteran. If anybody in the chat hasn't picked up City Sticker Chris, if anybody's in here that could please share it, I could probably share it again here. But definitely go check him out and give him a hook set because he's very knowledgeable. Great guy. He'll help you out any way that he can.
You was earlier. You mentioned about tacticams too. You want to get into that,
well,
or
yeah.
even scents. Even now we got Rick up here. We can even talk about scents and lures
Yeah.
and things.
Yeah, let's.
What do you want to transition to?
Let's do the tacticams and stuff last. The video
Okay.
part of it.
Okay.
Let's do the scents and like I'm talking about like the deer sense and like human scent control. Like what is your favorite scent control system that you use when you hunt?
Okay.
And so let's do before the deer sense. Let's hone in on your human scent system. What do you do to eliminate your human scent, and what's your precautions when you're hunting?
Okay. Usually, I will go, and I'm just gonna be honest. Like I said, I don't lie about this stuff. I'll go to Walmart and whatever is cheap, like the scentless soap.
Mm-hmm.
I'll buy the scentless soap. I'll buy the scentless shampoo or body wash type stuff. And like I said, whatever's on sale, because most of that stuff is the same.
Mm-hmm.
It's basically glycerin and baking soda and things like that you can mix up at home if you really wanted to,
Mm-hmm.
But that's basically what I do. So I don't differentiate a whole lot there. I just buy whatever's cheapest and I soap down, and wash up with that stuff. As far as clothes, I just go as clean as I can. What's the spray? The spray that I use most.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I've bought different ones.
Do you use the Hunt Drive stuff, the Golden Wildlife, the spray and dry?
Yes,
Scent killer.
That's what it's called. I was trying to think of the name of it. The Hunt Gold or whatever they call it now, and it dries and it's good for a couple days. I've been using that lately. Not that I'm affiliated with them, but I've been trying them out. I even tried Dead Downwind, which I think they're all about the same.
I've used Dead Downwind for years, and then I switched to the Golden Edge, but I use a different system that I'll talk about.
I think it's all about the same, if you ask me, because I've had mixed results with all of it. But I did a video. I can't remember the name of it off the top of my head, but if you look through some of the videos, you'll see a short there. I left a couple of bottles of those out in my pool building in the dead of winter, and some of them froze. Guess which one didn't? The one I'm using.
Really?
yeah, that one that kills 99.9. That one. I'm not mentioning names, but that one did not freeze. So if you're planning a trip to somewhere cold, do not take some of these with you. So take that little hint that I just gave you, the one that kills 99.9. Take that one with you. That one does not freeze.
There you go.
I had the other ones; they were
I
like a brick.
Yeah, I
What's that,
actually,
Rick?
so you guys know, I actually have a former nephew-in-law that he has 23 leases out in Kansas and Missouri, and he actually hunts the wind. He doesn't. I try to get him into using scents, but they don't use scents. He uses what I use now is a scent thief.
Mm-hmm.
He washes his clothes with it. He sprays off with it. He missed some out there and stuff. There's also wafers, and I actually bought a pack, and, and I can swear to you right now that I had that when I shot my bear at 7 yards away from me. That's what I was using. I had washed my clothes in it. I had sprayed off my boots and my stuff before I went out into the woods. And that
Yeah.
bear never. I mean, and the one time the bear at the angle, he was less than 5 feet from my gun.
Yeah.
Now let me make it clear. I don't rely on any of that stuff.
Yeah.
I hunt the
Oh,
wind.
yeah.
I hunt the wind, but it's nice to have a tool in your toolbox.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I hunt the wind. When I was younger, I never really paid attention to the wind too much, but which I lost a lot of deer that way. I know I did. But you know, you can hunt the wind all the time, but the wind's always going to switch up. There's never going to
It
be a
does
consistent,
change.
steady wind. So
Right.
you always want to have that backup.
Yep.
What I use is I use this right here. Can you see this? The phase from the Deer Society, this phase stuff. I use all the phase scent control, and I've had really good luck with that. Now I use the phase along with my ozonics. Don't get me wrong. I do use ozonics, and that
Yeah, that
helps
was
a
the
lot.
other
But
product I was going to tell him about.
yeah, but the
I haven't
phase
got
system.
with that.
The phase system from Deer Society is really good. They got a foam that I'll put in my hair, and it stays in your hair, keeps that down. You put it on your hands because when you're walking in, and if you touch anything and you're using steps or climbing, so I try to take as much precaution as I can. Rubber boots, scent free, scent lock, scent blocker. I'm using all that stuff all the time.
Gotcha.
Does it help? I don't know. Does it? Does it hurt? No. Does it help? I can't give you a 100% answer. Does ozonics help? Can't give you a 100% answer on that either. Does the scent-free stuff work? I think a lot of it does in some way help in certain situations, but I don't think there's a foolproof system out there that I could say, yes, use this and a deer won't smell you. There's not a system out there that a deer won't smell you. Because if you think about it, and I have some issues with like deer scents too. Like I have fresh earth wafers that I use and I put on my head. So when you're sitting there, your natural body heat, everything goes up. So I put a deer fresh earth scent on my hat. Okay. How many people in the woods that are shooting deer use a fresh earth scent on their hat? Probably 80% uses fresh earth. Maybe some people use pine. So that deer, I think you condition the deer just like when you walk into your stand every day from the same way. You're going to condition that deer. So when he smells that fresh earth scent, it's not covering your scent anymore. It's actually alerting that deer that there's something present now because he's smelling something strong like a fresh earth scent. And I believe the same thing with the deer scents in the woods now. You have your Tink 69 at Walmart. You have your Roger Raglan scents. You have all that scent. That's why I switched to the Rubline scents this year. I'm always looking for a different advantage. And using Tink 69 every year, how many hunters in the woods uses Tink 69? So everybody's walking in the woods, putting it on their boots, hanging it in their scrapes. Those deer condition themselves. They know that there's danger involved with that scent now. So that's why I went with Rubline scents. It's different. I tried it this year. I'm getting some good results now. At first it was slow. We're in my area, but now the bucks are coming around, they're scenting it and everything like that. And then you can argue, because I'm sort of with the deer scent like you are with the food plots, with the scents and things. I use wind scent a lot. I like the vaporizer. I think it carries longer. I think it's a really good scent. I hope Rubline might get in that industry and start making like a vaporized scent. That would be awesome. But I use the wind scent deer, the cartridges, and it vaporizes scent. I have 10 different scents. They last forever. It isn't like you're dropping it on the ground and it's gone. You have little canisters of an oil and it vaporizes and it lasts like 40 hours for hunts.
Great.
So it's definitely worth it. But, you know, when you're going and you're making a mock scrape and how many deer pee on the licking branch?
I got a whole video on that.
Okay.
That is
So,
one of my
like,
biggest pet peeves.
Yeah, so like a deer doesn't lift a leg and pee in the air, okay? So people take the deer pee and they pour it on their licking branch and they're putting it in and the deer are curious and they'll smell it and everything, but in the real world, a deer doesn't pee 6-7 foot in the air on a licking branch.
Nor is it going to rub its face in it or lick that branch after you just sprayed whiz on it. You know?
Okay, so
it ain't happening.
That's a pet peeve I have. Like people are dumping pee in the air. Okay,
I got
deer
a whole
doesn't
video.
do that.
Got a whole video on that.
A deer don't do that. So I went with the glandular lures, and I was told by a guy, that, go with the glandular lures because the deer are like a dog. They have glands, and they leave their gland scents everywhere. So the preorbital gland, where they're rubbing, is right here. They're going to rub that on the licking branch. Their tarsal gland is right here on their arm. That's the scent, the rubbing leaves and walking in the woods, the tarsal gland. Then you have the interdigital, which is their toes, the in between their toes. So I use those glands when I'm making scrapes and things like that to get that natural scent. And like I said, I don't believe me dumping pee 5 foot in the air on a licking branch, a deer doesn't pee in the air. Yeah. I put all my pee on the ground, the deer pee. I just don't believe in that thing. That's just me and me thinking about things. Scientifically, how does a deer do that? A deer doesn't leave pee in the air, it doesn't leave scent in the air. It pees on the ground, and that's where it belongs in the scrape. The licking branch, you know what I'm talking about.
Yep, I've
tried. What was you calling that stuff, kid, though?
Say that again?
Phase.
What was you calling that? No, the scent thing, like I don't know,
scent
like
elimination.
Your squeeze thing, the scent infuser.
Oh, the wind scent.
Wind scent.
It's a vaporizer. Yeah, they have little vials of oil, and it's almost like a vape pen. Okay, it's basically a big vape pen that you put the deer cartridge in that, and it vaporizes and creates scent, just like a vape pen. The smoke and everything comes off of it, and it carries downwind and does all that good stuff, and it lasts a long time. So I hope that like Rubline Scents would get into that, and I'm associated with Wind Scent. They sent me the new Mini and all this stuff, so I could, if Rubline's interested in maybe trying to do something like that, I could tell Big Time Rick I could hook you up with Roy from Wind Scent, and you guys can talk about making a scent for the Wind Scent canister if you guys are interested in like expanding your line or whatever. So you can let me know about that. That's later on down the road though if you want.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, I used a lot of different setups this year as far as mock scrapes and things. I was using Rubline in one mock scrape, and I was using just gland lures in another.
Yeah.
You know, I totally separated.
Yeah.
Used just urine in one, and then used glands in another, and that type of thing. And Rick will tell you, I've sent him some pictures, and some I didn't send because they're flying under the radar. I don't know. Some of the big ones I don't want out there. People knowing they're there. Yeah. But that I had some good luck with the Rubline and with the gland lure. I tried Smokies gland lure. I have a friend that's actually a rep for them, and he turned me on to it, and I said, man, I got to try that stuff, because he's sending me all these pictures on Messenger and stuff. And I'm like, yeah, I'm going to try that. So at Harrisburg, we got fixed up down there this year. I got some Smokies off of them, and they have it all. They've got the forehead, the preorbital, the interdigital, the tarsals.
Yeah.
I mean, they cover the whole deer, and you got the whole plethora at your fingertips there. And it's all oil based, and it lasts a long time. So it's pretty cool stuff.
Yeah.
But as far as the deer scent goes, as far as pee, like I noticed a lot of times you could tell the age of the stuff sometimes when you crack the bottle and sniff it.
Yeah.
Not only is it
aged,
that
alcohol.
Well,
like that.
It smells like ammonia. smells
Yeah,
like
like the
ammonia.
ammonia. Yeah.
Yeah, if you crack the bottle and it smells really bad like ammonia and it's really dark in color, usually it's aged. It's too dark. I mean, it's too old. You
Yeah.
know, I'm not saying that it wouldn't work, but like that's a good gauge sometimes.
It's already breaking down,
Yeah,
basically.
yeah,
Yeah.
and all those companies that you named earlier,
Yeah.
like tanks and all that, a
Hmm.
lot of that comes out of like the Harrisburg area from raw scents.
Yeah.
They are a supplier a lot of times.
I used to
Uh,
use raw frozen scents a lot. It would come frozen. That's what I used to
yeah,
use.
yeah, and then they supply a lot of that stuff. They have a
Hmm.
big farm out there, and they have humongous stainless steel vats in the basement of a barn, and it's Amish ran, and they 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 have certain vats that they will send only to like Walmart, and
Hmm.
it's actually the older stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's the stuff that's older that you're buying off the shelf, and it's not refrigerated. And it
Hmm.
might have been in the store for 6 months. And it's deteriorating. You
Yeah.
know, you want the stuff that's either vacuum sealed or fresh. Got freshness date on it,
Yeah.
or
Well, see,
doesn't doesn't smell like ammonia.
that's what Code Blue, when they come out, they were the first company to start coming out with that one deer in a bottle thing years ago.
That and like
And,
antler ice. Antler ice
yeah,
is frozen.
and then they would put the number of the deer. They try to catch you with that number of the deer now, but that's
Yeah,
all just a gimmick to get you. They're pulling it out of a vat now.
yeah,
To be honest with you, the rub line scents, and I'm not saying this because Rick's on here, because I would tell him if I didn't like it, and I do like it, and it smells unbelievable. Like when you open that up, like you're getting deer pee. Like it's a
yep,
scent, and when I'm pouring it out, it's yellow. It isn't the brown. It doesn't have that
right,
ammonia smell.
right.
It's really fresh. So I'm really excited about it. I got the estrus and I got the buck juice. I bought it all this year off
I
of
got to
them.
get some estrus out of Rick
Yeah.
here. I got to get some of
Hmm.
that. I
And
just have this. I just have the regular one, the
I'm
scrape,
gonna need
fresh
the
scrape.
buck juice, more buck juice because of my scrape dripper for Ohio and for here. Because I like to pour that in my scrape dripper, and then when I go in, I'll dump the fresh estrus right in there with me, and then I'll use a wind scent with a stud buck and an estrus doe mixed
How
together. It's
close
in
are
there.
you in Mount Pleasant?
Me, I'm about an hour and a half, maybe an hour, hour and a half.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because
But yeah,
I'm gonna be down there later this week.
are you? Okay. Well,
Yeah,
we'll talk about
I
it because
got.
I'm gonna have to I'm gonna have to definitely get more buck juice for my scrapers this year. For my scrape
Okay.
drippers.
But
When I
yeah,
get
to let you guys know a little bit about the scents that we provide and stuff is, and I'll try to go over them. Is ours is all natural. There is absolutely nothing in our deer scent to preserve it. Nothing to anything. It's vacuum sealed, and that's the preserve. The only preserving thing about it is that once you crack it open, then here's the tip to do. You take the bottle, you squeeze the bottle till the scent comes back up to the top. Then you take and put the lid back on it. Then you put it in a Ziploc bag so your wife don't get mad at you. And then you put it in your your refrigerator.
Right?
But that's the best way right now. Now my boss is coming out with actually a vacuum that you put on the top of our bottles, and you can
Nice.
vacuum it, the oxygen back out,
Oh, that's a good
so that it
idea.
keeps it on. He's patent pending right now.
Good idea,
Uh,
Rick.
hmm
our our fresh grape guys. I mean, to tell you the truth, we've had guys. I had customers out in April 15th, sent me pictures. He made a mock scrape out where he had been hunting and stuff. He goes, I'm impressed. They are all over it. I just put it out today. Now, that kid was in April. As soon as the snow was off the ground, basically,
Yeah.
up here,
Yep.
they were doing it. And it was having results all the way into July, August. We're still having results of fresh grape. And Ted's got his out, and even in September, we're still there.
Yep.
hmm
Ah, now, to be honest with you, too, we actually, the first day of our rifle season last year, I had a buddy of mine, did a drag line, went over, did a mock scrape, and hung a wick up with fresh scrape. And his boy was with him. And They watched this buck come down on this drag line, follow that drag line, ran right over to the scrape, started working the scrape, and the kid shot it. And that was on the first day of rifle season.
That's awesome.
And that's his knowledge of a hunter is that doe come in estrus every 28 days, or come into cycle every 28 days until they get bred. We actually have reports of guys now where deer are actually getting bred as late as February up here in PA.
Yeah.
So that's why we're having so many of the smaller fawns with spots now. You see still to this day and stuff, that's exactly what's happening.
Yeah, and I will say this, Rick. I've done a lot of mock scrapes in my time, and I didn't have a whole lot of success. But when I got a couple of those bottles of fresh scrape off you, remember that one video I sent you right away, man. That doe was in it 9 hours after I put that mock scrape out.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Talking about same day.
I just wanted to let you guys know real quick that I just shared Rubline Scents YouTube channel link in here, just so you guys can go and check it out. I just put Rubline. They only have 29 subscribers, so make sure you pick them up and check out their products. And if you're interested in any products, I'm going to put Rick's info in here.
Thanks,
I'll put your Big Tiny's Outdoors link in here also, and you guys go check it out, and Rick can hook you up with all the info you want to get if you want to check out the scents. So that would be, I'll do that right now, actually. Let me put Big Tiny's in here.
Yeah, I see my cousin Bill there was just asking for a link, so you got it out there, so that he can go check that out.
Yeah, I'm sharing Big Tiny's right now also. Sorry, I'm not looking at you guys,
I got videos on my thing as well about the proof of the fresh scrape and the Rubline products. But then we also make, like Chris said, we make a triple estrus.
That's what I have.
That's what everybody wants. That's what come November. Now I'll tell you right now, come November is when you want to use that in PA. I mean, it depends on like your guys' section down. I think down near Pittsburgh or not, they start the rut a little bit earlier than are up here, up in Northwest PA.
I think they're more towards Rick. I think my experience down here in Pittsburgh and PA in here is probably Halloween week is when they start getting frisky down here. About that time. Excuse me for 1 second. If you guys could just run the chat for a second, or just I'll be right back in 1 second. All right, thank you.
I'll keep spewing on.
I want to get some of that triple estrus, Rick. I got to try that soon. They start getting frisky.
Yeah, once you see them, like you're out spotting and stuff, and they're chasing does hard, that's when you want to start using the triple estrus. Now we also have buckrut juice, which normally is mid-October. We found to the beginning of November. Now that being said, it is actually a combination of our fresh scrape, our triple estrus, and a dominant buck. So, and people forget sometimes about these mock scrapes. It ain't, like Code Blue was kind of funny. Oh, one deer. Everybody's trying to say that about one. Do you know how many deer visit a scrape? You know what I mean? It's more than one deer. It's more than one doe that visits the scrapes. It's more than one buck. Yeah. So you're only kidding yourself. You don't think there's like 3 or 4 or 5 different P's in that thing, in the scrape. Sorry. So that being said, now, this mid-October time period or something, this bigger bucks walking around and starting to get interested in all these does and stuff. And you introduce another dominant buck in, and he's like, hey, where's this dude at? What's going on? He's in my area now. You know what I mean? Trying to take over my does. And that's the big thing with buckrut juice in that time period, for at least we found. But yeah, triple estrus is killer, but you also gotta use your head and do those keys, because if you don't follow it and you throw like triple estrus out in the middle of October, there's not a ton of does that are ready to breed in the middle of October up here.
Right.
So then you're alerting them to something that, hey, this ain't right. Deer ain't dumb. You know what I mean? They don't get that big around here. I know genetics has a big part in it, but they got to stay alive long enough to get that big too.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah.
As you'll see in some of my videos from the deer barn, the deer
Okay.
farm.
Okay. So you talked me into 2 bottles now. I need bottle of buckrut juice and triple estrus.
Yeah, you gotta get. Yeah, you gotta get the buck right. Yeah, we gotta meet
Yep.
Big Tiny one
You
day
did that
somewhere
to
to get
yourself, Rick.
Uh,
That's
but I
funny.
mean, but just like for example, and bear season's coming up, guys, and I shouldn't brag on here especially, but I'm telling you that fresh scrape. If you think about this, when you see a dead deer on the side of the road, and then all of a sudden that dead deer is gone, it ain't the game commission that's picked it up. What's picked it up? A bear. A
Critters.
bear has picked it up and drug it in to the woods and consumed it.
I'm gonna be right
What
back.
scent do they smell? What scent do they smell when they're consuming that other than the blood, the guts and stuff? There's also urine in there. So
Yeah.
you're getting that non-estrus doe or that buck urine in there. And when they're
Mhm.
consuming that,
It makes
because
sense.
I swear,
Makes sense.
I swear, I had a mock scrape made with fresh scrape and a buck cage up there, and that bear was 5 feet from that when I shot it. It was 7 yards from me, but 5 feet from that, it was almost to it, and I
Wow.
shot it.
Yeah, that's
So I
awesome.
mean, that stuff is all around, man. I mean, it's good all around, but when you're going after the big bucks and you want big bucks, then triple estrus is the way to go, or buckrut juice when they think that somebody's in their
Someone's in the
territory. It
area.
shouldn't.
Yeah, I like
Yep.
that idea of. I'll use that like the stud buck, but I like that buckrut juice for the intruder for that like
Yep.
when I set the scenario up, and I don't know if people know, and I'm sure most of the people in here do know. When you're setting up at mock scrape early, some people use them all summer long for like a community. There's difference between a community scrape, a mating scrape,
Yep.
a doe scrape, and what I do is hey fishing gang, what's up? What I do is I try to set the scenario throughout the season. So when I start in August, usually I was a little bit late this year. I usually start in August. I'll make my scrape, and I build the story throughout the whole year. I'll add the just the doe scents, the glandular scents, the fresh scrape scent from Revline. I'm doing that this year, and then as October builds more towards the Halloween week is when I start adding that the buck juice with the doe juice, the doe urines to get them buck that are hitting that scrape at night when I'm not seeing them to sort of tick them off and say, hey, there's another buck in my area. There's another man trying to get the woman type deal in the area. I need to be around here, so I'm going to go bed down within 100 yards, and I'm going to check. I'm going to be scent checking this scrape. So when you go in the morning, you put that fresh scent in there and get up in your stand, and then they get a whiff of that, and then that's when they come in. So you're building up the story and the plot. You're building up your shot before you're even going to take the shot. Sometimes weeks in advance,
Yep.
you're building that shot and you're setting that deer up for that shot weeks in advance.
Yeah.
So I just want to. That's what I do anyway. Tight
Yeah.
Line's in here. What's up, Tight Line?
Everybody's different. I mean, everybody does their own different thing, their different ways,
Mm-hmm.
and that's one thing. But just like Freezerbound posted, they all went to Rubline Sense. They're
Yeah.
all using it this archery season, and
Yeah, they have great results.
they actually did one of those wicks.
Yep, I saw that.
The hanging. I don't remember what they're called because I never used them, but they had 2 bucks fighting over.
Yeah, I saw that.
With
That
fresh.
was a good. Yep, and that was with the deer pee on the thing. Like that's what I'm saying. Like you
Yeah.
never know. You never know.
Those
with that
ropes
stuff.
or whatever it is. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it
Like
just it all depends.
I like using
Yep.
the grapevine. Like I just got into using the grapevines like 2 years ago, and horizontal rubs. Making horizontal rubs with a pine tree, cutting a pine tree down and mounting it horizontally across the ground about 3 foot up in the air. And them deer love that pine scent, and they'll come in and they'll rub at horizontal rub instead of a regular rub. Just something different. Like the vine that's fairly new in the industry. You can go and buy a kit that has a grapevine and it's already scented for you, where you can hang it over a scrape, and the deer love that.
Yeah.
I'm an old school guy with the licking branch. I always got to make a scrape with the licking branch. That's just how I've been my whole life. But I have done some with the vine, and I have one in Ohio right now with the vine, and I've watched it last year.
Yeah.
They go right up to the vine and they're licking the vine and they're doing everything with it. So I know that works.
Yeah.
So,
But yeah, that's what, like an earlier video and stuff, when I was trying to help a customer out and stuff and set things up, and it ended up that his boy never went out and did the camera work that was required. That I made that video, but it was kind of rough. But I always go out and I go down through paths, and I'm traveling down, looking around. You know, I try to find out where I jump deer at, because sometimes they bed, you know, well, this is where they're bedding. Well, you know, or if I see deer, like I'm sitting in my stand or sitting around or walking in the woods, and I see deer traveling up a certain area, you know, ridge lines are decent. Sometimes you'll find that sometimes the little gullies, you know, that they can walk up, that can be unseen going up through there. There's a lot of, you know, times, but I always, for rifle season anyway, I always hope that it snowed. Whenever it snowed before rifle season, I would go out and see where they're walking around. So there's a lot more that to all this than putting good stuff out there, because even good stuff doesn't always produce results if you don't take the time to go out there and spend time in the woods.
I've done, and that's exactly correct, Rick. Like, I've gone out there and I've been into it over the years. Like, when I didn't have kids, I would go out and I would create the best mock scrape that I ever made in my life, and I would set it in a spot. It was in an area where the deer were coming through all the time, and I had a camera set up on it, and I got 2 doe on it in a month. You know what I mean? And I knew the bucks were there, but they just weren't hitting it. It was just a matter of, was it the scent I was using? Was it the location it was in? Was it the time of year? I mean, that all is just so important, and that's what comes with experience. Like you said, what works for you up in northern PA, what works for Chris up in his way might not work for me here. So you can't just say this is the way to do it and that's it. Everybody has their own thing. Like Glenn down in Arkansas, he don't use scents at all. You know, he don't do that and do this. Like, everybody has their own way of doing it. And it's all in your head, too. A lot of it is psychological when you're going into the deer stand. If you go into a deer stand and you know that there's deer in there and they're hitting your scrape, that makes you sit on stand that much longer knowing that there's something in there. Now, if you're going in there and you're not seeing deer and you're not getting pictures on your camera, you're second guessing yourself and your setup all the time, which is half the battle. If you're in a stand wondering you should be in another stand, you shouldn't be in that stand. You should get down and go make a stand or move your stand to a confident area where you're confident at, because that's more than half of the battle of being in your stand and being confident in your stand.
Well, you don't want to be wasting your time in a tree either if someone already shot that buck you was after.
Yep. Yeah, exactly.
That's what I do. There is perks to having cameras out.
That's what the inventory is for, and keeping that. I mean, you can go crazy over cameras. My buddy and I have went crazy in Ohio over the past couple of years, hunting deer that we have on camera and just hunting that deer, and it would drive you crazy, and it does drive you crazy, because that deer will be there when you're not there. That deer will be there at night. That deer will be only there at 3 a.m. He won't come back for a month, and then another time he's there that one time at 10 o'clock in the morning. It can drive you crazy. What I use my deer cameras is just to get an inventory of it and seeing, okay, that's a good buck, that's one I want to go after. And that's all I use it for. And then to get footage for YouTube now. I put it on video. I just had a video mode. I just took it off video mode, and I erased everything because I didn't like the way it looked. I did have a 6-point come in. He walked right past. He come up. He did the licking branch with the rub line sense. He did all that. I erased it by accident. I wanted to put that on my video to show you guys. I erased that. So what I did was I switched it back off of video, and I put it on the camera. So tomorrow, I'm heading out tomorrow morning. I'm excited about tomorrow morning. I'm thinking after this weather this weekend, it kept them deer hunkered down most of the weekend. They're going to want to be out in here. They're going to want to be out in the yards and feeding and all that stuff.
They were out today already.
Yeah. So they're going to be.
Yeah.
I think I'm
Some
going to.
nicer weather.
I'm hoping. I'm expecting to see deer tomorrow morning. I'm expecting. I don't know if I'm going to see a shooter, but I'm expecting to see deer in the morning.
You know, and cameras only tell about 20% of the story too.
Yes, they do.
What
Yep,
about
it's
the ones
only
that walk?
eight-
You know, they walk behind the camera, or trigger speed
They're in
don't get
front
them.
of it and lift the camera.
I know. I know. There's so many deer
That's
out
just
there
like-
that you don't get.
Yeah. Or a bear comes up and decides he's hungry and rips the camera off and chews it up.
Yeah.
Hey,
And boss
there's
that's that video.
there's something else we can go into, man. Trail cameras. I'm
Well,
working with a company.
that brings me into the next segment of this. We're
Okay.
going for 2.5 hours already, buddy, and you guys are okay with it?
I'm good. I'm good.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I know Chris is into this too, but
Yeah.
and I figured it would be a good one. But let's go into cameras for videoing, the Tacticams. I know Chris is a big Tacticam guy, and I'm interested in a Tacticam for my new crossbow mount, something a little bit more solid amount. And I was talking to Chris about that the last couple of days. So
Yeah.
let's talk about the cameras, deer cameras to film your hunts, and let's talk about the deer cams for
Okay.
getting your
Okay.
stuff. So go ahead, Chris.
Now,
You start off.
some people don't know this, but it's at the top of my page on my Instagram account, which is the same name, City Slicker Chris. If you get in there, top line says that I am a marketing partner at Tacticam, which is a big fancy title, but it's not paid or anything. I'm just a partner with the company that I advertise for Tacticam and answer any questions that I can about them. They have changed the way I self-film. If you look at some of my videos there, especially the ones from last year, I've been using them for 2 years. I did get a couple 2 years ago on camera, but especially last year, I got all 5 of my kills on camera, and 6 if you count my turkey. But I didn't even post that turkey. It wasn't real good footage, so I didn't even post that. But I did get them all on camera.
I put your Instagram up here too, just to have
Okay, cool, thanks. I did get all my kills on Tacticam cameras. I was still learning at the time, so don't be real critical about the crosshair not being straight up and down. Some of them were turned a little bit. Yeah, Ted and I had a conversation about that. I talked to the owner at Tacticam and finally figured out how to rectify all the issues I was having, and got some deep dark secrets on how to use some other products Ted and I was talking about, like the FTS that actually goes on your scope.
That's what I'm interested in.
And you can film through your scope so that people see what you see through the scope, including the crosshair. And that's where I was saying about the crosshair being turned a little bit. There's a free app that you download. You can get on there and you can turn your camera to a certain position that'll get your crosshair straight up and down. Go ahead.
I wanted to ask you something about that real quick. I'm sorry to interrupt you.
No, go ahead.
I'll forget. The app that you're talking about on it, is that sort of like the GoPro Quick app, but it's for Tacticam, where you can get on and see everything on your phone? And can you download directly from that app to your phone, like the video, like you can do with a GoPro?
You can Tacticam's app. You can review your video.
Okay.
You can control the camera from your video, like a remote
from your phone. Yeah.
But I would tell you to go buy the remote. It's just so much easier.
Could you save the video onto your phone photos with that app? Because like GoPro, I can go on a quick app. I can download everything that I just videoed on my GoPro to my iPhone, and then I have it in my photos, and then I could share that to wherever I want to go. Does Tacticam, is that sort of like the same technology as the GoPro?
That's a good question. I do not know the answer to that.
Okay.
Because I've never
done that.
Yeah,
You use the card and then just download it to your computer.
Yep, I use all cards and I download straight on my. I have an SD slot on the side of my computer.
Okay.
I have an SD, and they're all mini SD cards and Tacticams, obviously for space.
Yep.
But I have an adapter that just goes in the side of my computer, and I do it that way. I download everything that way. I do not know your question, though, and that's one of those areas where I said I don't bullcrap anybody. If I don't know the answer, I won't say it.
And that's something I'll look into to see about that, because that's something that I'm interested in on the way Yep. On the way that I film and the way I download is I'll take it off of my GoPro with the Quick app, put it right to my phone, and then I'll either put my phone to my computer and put it up there, or
Okay.
I'll share those videos on my social media through my phone.
Gotcha.
But I can take it right off the GoPro. Like if I record right now, I can set up my GoPro Quick app, download it right to my phone, and then I have it. I can post it on YouTube. I can post it on
Okay.
Instagram and anything right from my phone. And I was just curious about that.
I am not really computer
Mhm.
literate about
gotcha.
all the technology stuff. So
Yeah.
I mean, I could use their app, but like as
Uh-huh.
far as using like GoPro as my camera and stuff like you was doing,
Uh-huh.
like that would probably make my picture look better. I look a little hazy compared to you and Rick. I don't have a real camera. I'm just using the camera that's on my laptop.
On your laptop, yeah.
Yeah, so it looks a little bit fuzzy, cloudy or something there. I don't know. It's not as clear as you guys. But yeah, I'm just not up on that technology, man.
Yeah,
I don't know.
the Logitech, the webcam that I just got today, that's what I'm using right now. That was $39 on.
Really?
Yeah, and you can get with Jason Drones, or I can give you the information for this. But it's plug and play. You put it into your USB, put it up on your, and it's just like
Really?
this.
You don't have any like settings to get into and
There
all
ain't
that?
nothing. The only setting you got to do is go into your settings in your StreamYard and switch it to that camera, and that's it. And
Oh,
if
man.
and if I can do it, you can do it because I'm.
I
Not
was just
real
gonna say
computer
this
savvy.
dummy could probably handle that.
Yeah. So if you're interested in any of that,
Actually,
I can get you the information.
Mine is right on my PC. I got one of the HP Intels.
Uh-huh.
I'm just using my PC.
That's what mine is, but it don't look as clear as you guys. I don't
Oh,
know.
you're probably
Of course,
got
it's
dirt
2
on
years.
your leg.
It's
You know what
2.5
happens?
years old.
That fluorescent lighting too in your basement will do that and make it look
Yeah.
hazy. It'll make
I
it
got
look
a
a little
light
hazy.
right above my head,
Yeah, that's probably why.
and
it's
I've got a
looking
hat
little
on, but I don't want to blind everybody with my bald head.
hazy.
Right?
No, it's fine. You're fine.
But yeah, as far as like, I use GoPro too. I do, and I have a remote for it. It's finicky though. It gets finicky sometimes.
Yeah.
Like, and startup's really slow on a GoPro.
Mhm.
If you notice, it takes like 10 seconds for that thing to start.
Yeah, there's the pluses and minuses with the Tacticam
Yeah.
that I really like about it.
Tacticam, man, you push the button, and within 2 seconds you're videoing.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
and then I can bolt that thing on anything. You know, I could put it on the stabilizer of my bow with a mount, or they have the actual stabilizer mount that you slide the
What's up,
camera
Dan?
into. There's just so many different ways. Like you and I was talking, they have the tactical one that goes on the Picatinny rail. You can
Well,
stick.
you know, I
on.
like that one, the under the scope
Yeah,
mount,
the
that
under-
bracket.
Yeah, you can get them. You know, you can hang them off the barrel of a shotgun underneath. And,
Hmm.
in the FTS, I think we were talking about that. I mean, the FTS is pretty cool. You know, everybody can see what you're seeing. That's just an extra added little bonus. You know,
Yep.
it's interesting to people
Yeah. No, it
that
has
they can
this, like,
actually see what you're
the go-
shooting at. You know,
The GoPro is nice, but when you zoom in, it starts getting pixelated. It
Yeah.
does have a zoom, but then you can go to an editor and you can edit it and zoom in even more, but then it starts getting pixelated because it's the digital zoom, not an optical zoom. But the
Okay.
Tacticam, which we were talking about, has
Yeah.
an 8 zoom, and it's an optical zoom, but you're
Yes.
not too confident that it's an 8 zoom.
I'm not sure about it. I don't think it's a true 8 zoom. I mean, they claim it's 8 power, but I think it's somewhere around 4 or 5. I mean, I'm guessing, you know,
Yeah.
but it just doesn't. A deer at 20 yards doesn't look like it's 20 yards.
Yeah,
To
it looks
me,
a little bit smaller. I
It
know
looks,
what you-
yeah, the deer looked a little smaller, like maybe it was 30 yards or something. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
And I don't know. I'll probably catch some heck for saying that, but
it
you
is
know.
what it is, though. You know. What I
yeah,
mean?
it is
Like,
what it
went,
is.
And I went back and I told you I was going to go back and look at your videos last night, which I did. I looked at all of your videos, all your deer, all your doe, and your bear that you shot. And
Yeah.
I get the idea, but yeah, that's the only thing that's is in question with me is that zoom. I would really
Right.
like. And then when I was looking at the FTS, I really like that because you can see what's going through the scope.
See,
But you only see the circle. You don't see the whole screen, which is, do I have to do some editing and bring that all out, when I'm doing that? So I don't know yet.
sometimes the circle thing, you can eliminate that.
Okay.
I have if you look at the whole bear video that I had, I showed some tidbits, like some slow motions and stuff like that. One of them was the circle, and the other one I showed was like full screen and that.
Yes.
So I mean, you can edit the circle thing, and sometimes people don't have the Tacticam buried, pushed in far enough. Like you have to push it in. Like I think Adam from Freezer Bond was having an issue there, where like he had the circle and then he had this big haze around it. And I told him, I said, I think your camera's just not in the
slot or
in there far enough, into the opening. I don't think he had it in there and tightened down correctly, because he had this big hazy area all around his circle that you could see the scope, and I said, something's wrong there, Adam. So I think he rectified that since.
Gotcha. Hey, Danimals, that's Chris, my buddy, City Sticker Chris. He's up north of me. I'm trying to debut his channel and try to push his channel out. He's close to 1K, so I want to get as many hook sets as we can. So if you would, please check his channel out and give him a hook set, buddy. I'd appreciate that, Dan. I'm gonna put his link in the chat again real quick.
Okay, cool. Thanks, Danimals. Check that out. But yeah, that I know. Well, Rick, you was holding up your camera there. Well, I used to use cameras like that all the time, and it does make great.
I didn't see it.
He had a little handy cam looking thing like I got,
Do you have that mounted? Do you have it mounted, or do you hand do it? Do you hand? By hand?
I did it hand in this new video that's coming out, and you can definitely tell I'm gonna have to edit quite a bit of it. But I have this Sony. Oh, let me make sure. HD Handyman 9.2 digital with a 60x zoom.
See, that's what mine is, but it's 54 zoom. Yep, same one, Handycam.
I was 1,000 yards away from one thing that you'll see in my video coming out, and it looked like I was only about 100 or 200 yards away from it.
Yeah, you just gotta watch with the movement, because if you move it 1/8 of an inch, it seems like it's 10 foot at that far. You got to really be careful. You got to have it steady. That's why I was asking you about the hand. Are you doing it by hand, or do you have it on a mount? I recommend using a mount with that, because any kind of movement on that is going to be so jumpy at that far. So I would try to get a mount for it, unless you're stable with it. It's up to you.
Yeah, I got a mount. No, I'm not stable. My big thing was, too, and it pixelates that I've seen, you'd be zoomed too fast.
Yep, because it's the digital. It's a digital zoom and an optical zoom. That's the difference. If you have digital zoom, it's not. It gets more pixelated as opposed to an optical zoom. So you got to watch that. That's why the GoPro looks awesome.
Yeah.
And then you can zoom it, and then it starts getting pixelated, which I can't stand that about a GoPro.
My GoPro hit the ground one time and it was done. So that's why I went to this. Yeah, it shattered the screen.
I used to always use the Handycam like Rick has there, but when you're using an arm and you have to have all that motion trying to reach out there and get that thing, and then you gotta hope that deer walks through there where you want to shoot it, without moving the camera again.
Yeah.
I got busted so many times, and that's why I say these Tacticams just changed the whole way that I film.
I'd like to put a Tacticam on my scrape with the remote, and I'd like to mount it on my scrape, and then when I'm getting ready, I have my camera on my crossbow. I have my GoPros, the second view, what they call second view. And then if that deer's in that scrape area, turning that Tacticam on, and then showing the shot through my scope, and then showing the pass through.
Yeah, that would be cool.
That would be the ultimate video for me. That's what I want to capture. I don't know if I could do it this year, but I got to get some Tacticam.
Yep.
Yeah, see, I was going to do that on my bear hunt, but I wasn't sure,
It's tough. It's tough.
About I mean, I could have gotten it, probably, or a good chance, because I could have, as close as that thing was, I could have just let it roll. But I didn't know if people would be offended by that. So, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Some
Well,
people, you know,
I wanted to see the shot of your bear. I wanted you to get the shot in there. I wanted to see. That's
yeah,
me though. You know, some people don't know. When I shot my buck last year, I put in there viewer discretion. You know, warning, graphic content. I did that because I was told if you do something like that and you show deer kill, I did a slow motion shot, which was I was on top of the world last year when I got that shot. I was so happy. That's what my goal was to do.
yeah,
And then when I put it in the description, I made sure I put like a hazard warning and I put viewer discretion,
uh-huh,
you know, and I put that in because I was
yeah,
told to do that for YouTube, or YouTube will just shut it off and take it down. And that's the best video, my best hunting video I had last year was that PA buck, that
yeah.
8-point that I took. Yeah, I was very proud of that video, by the way.
I have never
Yeah,
been
that's I think
flagged.
graphic content.
What's
Yeah,
that?
I've never been flagged for having any of the
Yeah,
kill
that's
shots
good.
or anything.
Yeah,
And
that's
I've
good.
actually named some of the videos kill shot and stuff like that, and I've never been flagged yet. Well, of
That's
course,
good.
maybe I'm not on the map yet.
Yeah.
I'm not big enough.
Yeah, well, I like them. I just, like I said, I'm trying to get that perfect shot, and I'm a perfectionist, and I'm like trying to get all these great videos and try to get for great angles. But you guys, as well as I know, you could spend a half a day setting up your shots and camera angles before you even start hunting. It's almost like you got to go in a day before to set everything up and then go in and hunt it. That's why it'd be nice to have a camera guy, but then you're running the risk of another scent. You got to cover
Well,
up. You got to have the more movement to cover up. There's all that. So
I'll tell you what.
I really like the solo videoing. I really do.
Yeah. I mean, I like it
yeah,
too, but I'll tell you, some of the best videos made were when I was working with somebody, and I was, there was no pressure on me. I was just videoing, or he was videoing me. Those make some really good videos, and I didn't use camera arms for them. I freehanded all that stuff.
Yeah, I seen you do that with your buddy with that doe with that muzzleloader shot. You handed him the camera and he videoed you shooting
Yeah,
that doe.
yep, yeah. We've done a lot of hand video in that way, and it makes for some really good videos. I mean, but solo hunting, like you said,
Yeah, there's something about it.
there's something about it. Not only that, but I just there's places I go that I can't have somebody trailing me,
Uh-huh.
and secondly, there's places I go I don't want other people to know where I'm at,
Exactly.
because it seems like when
yeah,
I shoot a good critter, next year there's 6 other guys within view, and I don't like that. I mean, I go
Yeah.
where I go because I get away from people, and
Yeah.
I'm shooting nice stuff.
Yeah, and you're
Yeah.
doing your homework and you're putting all the work in before.
Yeah, I'm putting the work in. Why should
Yeah.
they follow me and do,
Yeah, that's a
possibly
big thing
shoot
with
the
me.
critter I'm after?
Yeah.
I hate
And
to
like-
that's
sign.
the thing about hunting public land.
Well, see, all those big bucks I shoot are all public. I've never
Yeah.
shot anything private.
I've
Yeah.
shot a lot. I've
But,
shot.
I mean, you know what I mean? A lot of people out there. So there's a lot of people in the woods that are going around and they can see different trees and stuff that you're videoing. And they're like, hey, I know where that tree's at. Or, you know what I mean? They spend
or
a lot of
walking
time.
in. Yeah.
Yeah.
Or walking in, or you got a background of something and they see it and they know where you're at.
Right.
There's all
right.
kinds of different stuff. That's why I like pictures with fish and stuff. You'll see a lot of people taking pictures up in the air, so you just see the sky because they don't want to show you the shoreline where they're at or what lake they're at. There's a lot of trickery.
That's why. That's one reason why, like I said, I'm so transparent and I'm honest about stuff. That's why that feed plot that I have behind camp.
Mm-hmm.
That's why a lot of times I will swing the camera around and show them, hey, camp's right here. And then people say, oh yeah, well, you're baiting them in, or you're going to shoot them from the camp. No, I don't hunt from camp.
Yeah.
I mean, I can't. It's illegal to do that where I'm at.
There's the link again, guys, if anybody else wants to pop up. Sorry to interrupt you. But yeah, so that's what we have on the Tacticam. So that's your idea of the Tacticam, Chris. Is that you want to say anything? Any last
well, like I
words with
said,
the Tacticam?
I'm
if anybody's interested in the Tacticam or how it works, Get a hold of Chris,
can get
and
a hold of me, and
he can get a hold of him, definitely.
yeah, they can ask me, and if I don't know, I can get a hold of my contact and get some answers. But yeah, I'm a marketing partner. In other words, I advertise for them. So if you're on my Instagram, you will see a lot of Tacticam pictures. Um, and some of the other partners I have. And that's why I was going with the trail camera thing. You want to switch
Yeah.
gears to trail cameras a little bit?
Yep, that's what I was heading to. Let's switch
Okay.
on to trail cameras. What
The
kind
the
of
trail
cameras you use?
I do not buy expensive cameras because, as Rick was just saying, I hunt all public land.
Yeah.
And so I actually, believe it or not, I went to Walmart and bought a box full of them stinking Tascos, the ones that were 20 or 30 bucks, you know. Um, and believe it or not, they do okay for what you pay for them. You know, they do pretty well. Um, the only thing is, video is only 720, and there's no audio with your video. So that is a little bit of, if you're into that thing, I don't need to
You're
listen.
just looking. You're just looking.
Yeah, I'm
for
just
results.
looking. I'm
You're
not
just
listening.
looking.
I don't care what they sound like. I just want to shoot them and eat them.
Yeah, yeah. You just want to get a picture of a buck and see what it is, basically.
Yeah. So I use the cheap Tascos, but my big thing I wanted to say was I use a mounting system that and this has a background story. Um, maybe I should just go into that first. When I was working with the other guy,
that'll help out a couple of people in the chat.
Okay.
Keep getting their stuff stolen.
Yeah, when I was working with that other guy, we had that lease going, and we had a pretty good sized channel going, and some people, when we got the land, realized where we were at, just like we were just saying.
Mm-hmm.
They realized where we were at, and the people we obviously posted when we leased it. I mean, hey, we're leasing it, so we're going to post it. Well, some people got upset, and 9 cameras came up missing, and a guy smashed a solar panel for a camera, or I'm sorry, a solar panel for our electric fence that went around our food plot, and then he cut the food plot fencing like every 20 feet. He just chopped it up. So the guy, we got a picture. He didn't get all the cameras, and we got a picture of him.
Mm-hmm.
So we actually ended up catching the guy, and believe it or not, we didn't prosecute. But I think he learned his lesson when the state cops showed up at his house, and we had pictures of him and knew his name and where he worked and how he was arrested for beating on his mother and all kind of stuff. You know, this is the kind of slime we was dealing with. But we got a picture of the dude coming in with a trash bag over his head, okay, with a hole cut out so you couldn't see him.
Yeah, awesome.
But he was carrying a hammer, and he smashed a solar panel, and then he cut the fence all up. But we ended up getting him. But I said all that to say this: a trail cam mounting camera reached out to us and said, "Hey, we know how you can avoid this from happening again. Here's this mounting system that we came up with." And this system puts the camera up in a tree, and you don't have to climb. You don't have to take climbing sticks. You don't have to take a ladder. You don't have to take a climbing stand, nothing. And it's called Spy High Mining System.
Mm-hmm.
And Spy High Mining System it's basically like the old extendable poles that you use for painting. Okay. Remember them? You could extend them out, and it was telescoping. Well, you can put a bunch of those poles together, and you can telescope this thing. And they have an insert that looks like a deck screw with a receiver on it, and you can put that on the end of the pole. You could jab it into the tree and twist it into the tree, and they actually have an adapter too. It'll go in the end, and you can chuck it in a cordless drill. You can run it. You can run that like a deck screw right into the tree. Now that's your receiver. Then they have a mount that you screw your camera to, and it has a receiver, a male end and a female end on it. and you can put that on the end of your pole, and you take it up, and you can plug it right into your receiver and pull back, and your camera's hung.
Wow.
It stays up there, and then
That's
you
awesome.
can check your cameras. You can go in. There's a side that says install and uninstall. So that's the way you turn the pole to plug onto that, and
Yeah.
you can take it up. You can take the camera down and then flip it over to the install side and take it back up.
Oh wow.
Yeah, and it's really, I mean, there's a price involved with everything for hunting. Hunting's beginning to be a rich man's sport. I mean, all the gimmicks you can get into, but this system, Rick can tell you, the pictures that I sent him of the bucks in my rub line sense are all from above, from like 16 feet. So when they got their head down sniffing, you can see the rack sticking out. You know, you can count all the points. You can see everything. You know, it's a really nice system, but it's great for inventory, home security, out of view. People walk around looking in the woods. They're not looking 16 feet up in a tree. And you can go higher than that if you want. You can put multiple poles together too if you want. You know, but the system comes with 2 poles, a bunch of adapters that your camera screws onto, you know. And I mean, it's just a cool system.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And that's someone else I'm partnered with, you know. I'm not allowed to call them a partner. They're my friends.
Okay.
I'm good friends with them. There's certain companies out there that won't let you call them partners for insurance reasons and things.
Yeah.
So I posted that one day, and they personal messaged me and said, "Hey, we can't call each other partners. You just have to say, hey, look at my friend's stuff here."
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, they're cool people. They're from way out west, and the guy used to trap grizzly bears for a living for the state. Yep, that was his job. So and then he come up with this mounting system because he got tired of all the bears ripping stuff down and security reasons and things, you know. So a real cool mounting system. If anybody's interested, you can get a hold of me for that too. There's probably pictures of that stuff on my Instagram, and just a little plug. But it's interesting. I mean, but that's the stuff I use. Like I said, Tacticam crap, Tasco cameras for cell, or I don't use cell cams because my reception's horrible in my area. I don't know about you.
Problem that I have.
Rick's within 10 miles of me, but I bet you, I don't know if you get cell cam coverage up there either. Half the time I don't even get cell phone coverage in some spots.
Ohio's pretty good for me. I could probably use one down there on our lease, which I would feel more comfortable putting it on our lease because it gets patrolled by a local guy down there, and he'll call us and let us know if somebody was on there.
Okay.
But I would use it there, but I wouldn't use it around here because it would be gone.
It'd be gone. Well, that's where that system's nice. You can stick them up and away. And the only way they're getting it is if they come in with a big extension ladder or something and can reach it.
Usually I do that, but I'll reach up there and I'll put it up as high as I can to keep out of line of sight. Right. Unfortunately here, the morning will be good. The deer are out moving, he said. Boxy said that the deer are out moving the morning. Yeah, I'm hoping the morning is good for myself. But my cameras of choice is the Wild Game Innovations. I have all 3 levels of them. I have the cheap $40 ones.
Yeah.
I got the mid grade, the $80 ones, and then I got the $150 one, the scrape lines.
How do you like the cheapest one even?
I like them. They're great.
I'm a value guy. I am.
It's you press the button one time and it's on. You can put it on video or still photos. Press the button. As long as your card's in, boom. You set everything up with the time. Press one button, put it up, and you're gone.
I mean,
I like that.
If I had the cell service in the areas, I would get the reveal.
The Tacticam
reveal cameras.
Yeah, my choice too. That's what I would choose.
I would definitely get them. They're cheap enough. They have great quality.
Yeah, they're awesome.
And those ones switch if it can tell it's going to get Verizon better, it switches to Verizon. If it gets the other thing, AT&T or whatever, it switches. It can gauge what signal's better, and it switches to it.
Yeah, that's awesome.
If I had the service, And if I wasn't so daggone cheap, wanted to pay for this, all the
Yeah.
pictures. What is it? I don't know, $15-$20 a
Well,
month or
you can
something
get
for
them. You can get
1,000
them.
pictures or something.
I get them if you get them turned on. You get them turned on September, October, November. It's like $7 a month, so you're looking at about $21 a year,
And
and
that
then you
ain't
can
bad
shut it off.
because you can shut it off. Yeah.
Yeah, you can shut it off, and then next season open it up in September again, or whatever you
Right.
want to do it, or
Yeah.
whatever months you want to do it. But I really like those cameras; they're cheap, and then I also have Moultrie. I went out and bought a hunter's pack of like 7 or 8 Moultries.
Okay.
I got like 25 maybe cameras that I
Oh,
use.
wow.
So
Wow.
I have Moultrie packs, and they're video and camera also, just the singles. I have no trouble with them. Every once in a while, with any of those cameras, you'll get some hazy pictures at night when the batteries start getting low.
Yeah.
But it takes forever for the batteries to get low on them. Like I could put all fresh batteries in this year on every camera, and then run them all year, and then next year put new batteries in them. That's what I like about them. I like my wild game cameras better than my Moultrie ones,
Yeah.
but like you said, I'm just trying to get inventory and stuff from them, like Ohio and like things like that. So I'm really not into the footage as much. But recently, the past year or two, since I've had a YouTube channel and stuff, I have been turning my more expensive cameras, my wild game innovations, to video, and I've been videoing the deer around the scrape, and I've been putting them in my videos also to
Right.
give a little action shot of the video camera. So I like
Yes.
to do that every once in a while too.
Right.
I
Yeah.
actually run. Go ahead, Chris.
Good. Your turn, Rick.
Oh, I was going to say I actually run 2 stealth cams, which my wife bought me for Christmas way back when.
Those are nice.
Then with Aiden's Army, I actually won with the cooler auction and
Hey,
stuff.
Reverend
I've
Kate.
got like 8 of those. Hi, Cecilia. I got like 8 of those. I got a wild game cam like you have, Ted.
Mm-hmm.
I just purchased 2 Spy Point and cellular cams, and I haven't got them downloaded or fired up yet. And I also purchased 2 Wise Eyes cameras, and
I've heard
they
good
got
things
me
about
as
them.
a staff. And I've looked at all the videos that I've seen of people, and they actually have a very, very clear picture when it comes to that. So I'm gonna
Wise Eye.
get them fired up. Yeah, Wise Eye. I'm gonna get them fired up. I'm gonna do a video on both of them so that
Cool.
people can, see what's going on. Just right now with hunting season and everything, and like you, Ted, I'm actually hunting in New York. I got 4 licenses to fill up there, so
Yeah.
do that. And then my buddy, I don't know, Chris, if you ever heard of him, he's Off the Hook Outdoors. He's got this place over in Ohio, so I could get my Ohio license and start going over there and pounding around with him. You know what I mean?
I
So
would.
then there's that.
I got a video coming out real soon. I wanted to wait till now. Like I did all my fishing content and everything, so that's all done with this year. Right now, I started putting out shorts just to promote some of my videos coming out. I got 4 or 5 videos coming out here.
Cool.
That I even have video from my first hunt that I didn't even start editing, but I got 4 or 5 videos edited in the basement, ready to go. One is the Ohio mock scrape video. Another one is checking my cameras and mock scrapes in PA. Scouting for deer in PA. So I got a couple videos that are coming out real soon. Like one's going to be coming out Monday or Tuesday. And then I have some Ohio bucks. I'm going to be coming out with a short to promote my checking the mock scrapes in Ohio. So I got a short buck video coming out of all the bucks that I got so far down there. And there isn't one I wouldn't shoot on it. It's awesome. So.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I actually take that cam. When I was at the was it Chikora or something like that? I can't remember the actual name, but it was a big event that I was down there in the summertime, down near you. Is it Chikora? Is that whatever fire department or something? They have a big
Chikora,
thing every
Big
year.
Bash. Yeah, Big Bash in Chikora.
Yeah.
Yep. Down by
I went
Butler area.
There's John with his comments again. Hey, John. Yeah, I just got a new webcam, a new microphone, and some headphones. So I'm debuting everything tonight, buddy. So yeah, I am trying to land a 447. Go ahead, Rick. I'm sorry for the interruption, but you know how John
No,
is
that's
with
all
his
right.
comments.
But oh, now I forgot what I was saying.
Sorry.
Oh, I got all kinds. I've got there was a
Charleroi? Are you talking about Charleroi?
No, I think he's talking about Shakura down by Butler.
Shakura,
sure,
okay.
yeah.
Yeah, there's a big bash down
But
there.
anyway, I got all kinds. I have a device to hold your camera on your gun. I got a device to hold your camera on your crossbow. I got a device to hold your camera on your tree stand. I got this silly stick if you're ground blinding and stuff like that you can actually put your camera on one. You can put your ham sandwich on another. You can put your coffee on another. It's pretty cool. I got all kinds of fancy doodads that they got,
Who made
especially
that?
ground blind.
Who made
Nice.
that?
I would have to go up and look. But
I
I
got a
know
sport.
you probably know who it is.
I probably
Huh?
know who it is.
I got a sportsman's mount that I broke last year because it was all plastic. So I got with Jason Drones and we come up with a mount for my scope right now before the Tacticam, and it's all metal. So I'm gonna use that on my new. I'm using my old crossbow right now to hunt PA until I get the mount that I want, and I'm waiting for my camera mount to come for my Havoc. So I'm waiting for that, but I'm using my old crossbow right now in PA.
I'm gonna guess,
Hey.
Rick, that you bought that off a guy named Rick from High Point Industries. It's all injection molded.
Yep.
Yep. That's my buddy
That's
Rick.
who it was.
I remember
Yep.
High Point. I remember you doing a video on High Point
Yep.
products, Chris.
Yep. Yeah, they was at.
Yep.
I did a video on them. I think twice now, actually. But yeah, buddy Rick there. That's good stuff, Rick. That's real good
Yeah.
stuff. Yeah, he's a good
Kinda
dude
like
too.
that one.
I went up to that 2 mile run park when they had it at the second leg of the IBO shoot up there 2 years
Yeah.
ago. Went up there to video that some of that shoot and interview Greg Poole from Bow Junkie Media, and I got all the way up there, drove all the way up there, and I didn't have an SD card in my camera.
Oh, I've done that before.
Oh, I was
I'm
so
so
upset.
glad. I'm so glad now the newer cameras tell you no SD card in there
Yeah.
when you try to turn it on.
I
That
was
helps
so
much.
upset, and I walked over to Rick, and knowing Rick,
Hey, Alan.
and I said, Rick, I can't believe this. I'm sick. I'm gonna have to go drive
that
all
like
the way
button,
back
everybody.
to a Walmart. I'm gonna have to go all the way back to Walmart and go get me a card. And he's like, hold on here. And his display model on that tree stand, he has a little handy cam there. It's red. He goes, hold on.
Yeah.
I think he pulls a card out of his camera, his own card, and he gives it to me.
Yeah.
It says, don't worry about it. Go ahead and use it. I said, Rick, I'll get you another card, but I will use it for today. Ended up this year at Harrisburg. I took that SD card all the way back to Harrisburg with me, went to his booth and handed him back his card. And I said, man, I appreciate you. He's a PA guy. Do you know that?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
That dude, Rick from High Points, he's PA guy. Yep. He actually he brings his grandma, or not his grandma, his mother. He brings his mother down, and she gets worked on here at Brookville Hospital for stuff. She's got a doctor down here. I seen him driving through Sigel one day. I was behind him tooting the horn. He's like, was you behind me in that big square body Chevy? I said, yeah, that was me eating up your tailgate.
So we got about. I'm gonna go to about 10:30, guys.
Hey, Bill.
Okay.
We got about 10 more minutes because I got to get to bed because I'm getting up at 5 o'clock to go hunting. So
yeah, I'm getting up at 3 to go to work.
Are you?
Yeah.
So if
Yeah.
anybody,
I'm getting up whenever I want to go do whatever I want to.
Stop it.
Yeah, I'm going out in the morning. I think it's gonna be good. So Ted had a huge bass
Yeah.
up on my bait today, half out of the water. There's John. He's still catching fish even after that hurricane. The problem, he was a foot behind it. They were sluggish today.
That Bill there stepping out for the night there. That's my
Okay,
cousin.
good night, Bill. Good night,
Yeah.
Bill. Thank you for
Rick,
coming in, buddy. I
Bill.
appreciate that.
He's the one from Pittsburgh. He's a heck of a what's that called? Smash up derby at the county fairs.
Yeah.
Yeah, he and his boy do that. Demolition
Demo
Derby.
derbies.
Yeah, they win all the time, man.
He's
good
not
at
too
that.
far from me either. If he's in Clareton, he's only a half hour away from me.
Yeah, I think he's in Clareton. I think they went to,
Yeah.
if I'm correct, Carlington High School.
Yeah, he's real close to me then.
Yeah.
I drive right past him when I go down to my camp down Uniontown.
Yeah, pretty sure that's where they're at.
So does anybody have any more questions for Chris or Rick or anything about scents, tacticams, food plots? I'm going to be wrapping this up here in about 10 minutes. I wanted to thank everybody for being in here tonight. It was an awesome chat. I want to thank Chris and Rick and Boxy for all coming in tonight. If you haven't hit the like button, please do so. I really appreciate that. But let's start wrapping it up with any last questions or any comments. What did John say? He said he does demo derby at Headwaters boat ramp. Get out of my way.
Yeah, man, if there's anybody in here that hasn't heard my spiel on all the food plotting, man, you just get a hold of me or watch some videos, do some subscribing.
Yep.
I'm trying to march on to that milestone of 1,000.
Thank you, CC. Thank you very much for coming in. I appreciate that.
I thank the people that did come over and subscribe tonight already. But make sure you get in there and do some liking and commenting so that subscription sticks.
Yes, definitely, guys. And if you haven't hit the like button, please do so.
Yeah, I actually went over 200 twice now and went back down to 199 until maybe just recently.
That's happening a lot. I was at 180, 1,800 and something, and it just keeps going back and forth,
Yeah.
So, I don't know. I think it's the we're gonna see in January with these shorts. That was one thing.
That's
the shorts, promoting your shorts. I would recommend everybody going out there and trying to put some shorts out there and get some hook sets. Thanks, Boxy. I appreciate you coming in, buddy. I really do. Thanks you so much, sir. It was a great live. I really
Petersons, thanks for subscribing, man. I appreciate that.
Yep, I appreciate that too.
Yeah, I really appreciate each and every one of you guys for coming in. Cindy, Ted, you see the short I put up last night. I didn't see the short yet, Dan. I haven't really looked at too much into YouTube the last couple of days because I've been so busy. But once I get off here tonight, I'm going to go back and clean up all the YouTube stuff that I got to look at. And then I'm going to hit the sack because I'm getting up early tomorrow to get out there a little early because I think they're going to be moving tomorrow. So I'm pretty excited about that. And you guys will all be informed here real soon. But keep an eye out for more videos coming from all of us. I'm not ending it yet, Rick. I'll let you talk too. But my videos will be coming out real soon, starting this week. All my hunting content's coming out. I tried to time it. Hello. Oh, I have a question for Ted. Let's see what it says. I have a question for Ted. Did you ever find the guy that stole your tackle box? No, I didn't. I see it, John. No, I have not found the guy that stole my tackle box, John. But go ahead, Rick. I'm sorry. I just wanted to let everybody know that I got a bunch of content coming up.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Give you a hint, an idea. Appropriate one of your wife's spritz bottles. Clean it out, empty it out, put some fresh scrape in it. When you get up in your tree, spritz it on your tree. Guess what? You're 12 to 20 feet higher in that wind current, sending that stuff out, just like one of those smoker things you were talking about and stuff. It's just something that works.
You can check the wind too. If it blows back in your face, you're gonna stink.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I like to atomize that scent. I have a bunch of little spray bottles that I save from other scents and stuff, and I rinse them out. I'll even go as far as putting the scent killer spray in the bottles, let it sit for a while, rinse them out with some distilled water, throw them in my fridge in a container, and just let them sit there until I need them, and then I'll fill them with scent and go out and spray everywhere. When you do that, though, you got to make sure you buy enough scent. So that keeps all the scent companies in check because you're always buying scent because you're using a lot of it, you know?
Yeah.
Right. Hey, we got a 10-ounce fresh skate bottle. I'm just saying.
Oh, yeah, I bought a couple. I bought a couple of them. And my 10-ounce bottles are they're empty, actually. I just put the last bit in the other day, Friday, when I hunted. I put the last 5 ounces in my scrape chipper. So that'll get me through this week. I know. Yeah, I gotta. Do you want me to go through you, Rick, on that? Do you want people to go through you, or do you want them to go to Rubline and do it, or do you want them to go straight through you?
Well, actually, I might have misspoke on my about me thing, but I can get them 20% off, but it's on the scents only, not all the products.
Gotcha.
Now
So
we
we
also have. Let me see something real quick. It'll help you guys out too. Let me look at my paperwork. I'm trying to hurry.
no problem.
We actually we actually have a new thing membership that if you go on to the Rubline Scent thing, and I'll
I think
try
I'm
and
a
show it to
member.
you.
I'm a member of that club. I joined it. I did join the membership there, so I guess I get twenty
And I was
percent
gonna,
off myself.
right.
I
Uh,
don't know. I forget my code though. I gotta go look at my code.
Not me. I'm just gonna drive up to Rick's house and go in his refrigerator and steal it.
Yeah, it's
I'm
nice to
close
have
enough.
that.
I'm close enough. I'll just tell him I'm gonna grab a drink and I'll just pocket a few of them bad boys.
uh, can you see it? Okay. But yeah, you guys got a chance. For $25, you get 20% off our products, and you get a chance to go on a 5-day fully guided hunt in 2023 for archery
Yeah, that's what
on
I did that.
over almost 800 acres, uh, or a 1-day PA turkey hunt also. And then there's all kinds. There's like 48 other prizes.
Yep.
Now, if we get more people joining, there'll be more prizes. I am actually teaming up with some other people and possibly doing some. We can maybe. I'm not promising anybody anything, but like I said, there's opportunity in Ohio to go hunting. There's probably an opportunity in Indiana and even in Illinois and stuff. So we got connections all over. It's just a matter of how many people we actually get signed up in the membership, and then the prizes can grow.
Cool.
That's awesome. Yeah, I entered that. I joined that. I'm a member of that right now, so I'm hoping maybe I win a hunt. Who knows?
Hmm.
Yeah,
Cool.
you might know this nice guy to take on his leased land and stuff.
Yeah. All right, guys. Well, I guess I'm gonna end this because, like I said, it's 10:30. We've been going strong for 2.5 hours, guys. So I appreciate everybody coming in here, Rick. I appreciate you stopping in, Chris. It was a
Thank you.
pleasure having you up here.
Thanks, man.
Thank you to everybody that joined the live. Thank you everybody that hook set Chris. Please
Yes.
go, like I said,
Appreciate it.
make sure you watch a
Thank
video
you.
and make a comment. Everybody that hook set Rick. Really appreciate you guys. I'm going to get out of here and I'm going to go get my hunting stuff ready tonight. And I'm going to get up in the morning and go out and hopefully get some footage for you guys.
Okay.
All right,
Yeah,
guys?
I just wanna
Mm-hmm.
thank Ted for having me up.
You are
And
welcome, sir.
see you, Rick. We'll catch
See
you
you,
later.
Rick.
But
Thanks, you guys.
Yeah, no
yeah,
problem, buddy.
these everybody in the chat, if you're interested, like I said, my Instagram's the same, City Sticker Chris. My YouTube's available. My contact information's in the About page. If you want to email me or openly ask a question online or whatever, that's great. I answer them all. I'll get back to you. But yeah, as you could tell, if you was here earlier when I was talking food plots, it is a great passion of mine, and uh, I don't have a whole bunch of bells and whistles and great editing and things, and I'm not the greatest on camera, but I do. I don't want to toot my own horn, but I do know what I'm doing. I can plan a plot and it'll grow nice for you. I can show you how to do that. I won't tell you how you have to do it, but I show you how I do it. And if you have any questions or comments about that, you can just drop them in the comments. But check it out, man. I'd like to have you subscribe and follow along and watch my hunting videos and my videos about the food plotting. And that's what
Awesome, guys.
that was my wrap up spiel. So
All
thanks,
right, man.
guys.
Well, thank you, guys. Thanks, everybody, for coming
All
in
right.
here. Like I said, if you get a chance, please take a kid hunting or fishing. We want to preserve our sport. And we will see ya.
See you guys.
See ya.